You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gaffman.
All right, here we go. In this episode tonight, we have Joseph Larsen, who is a drummer out of Nashville that has played with a lot of different bands. We're gonna learn about, and just talking off air with this guy, what a genuine dude. Welcome, Joseph. How are you doing tonight?
And I consider us all friends, so now we're going to call him Joe.
Joe, we're going to call you Joe.
and now we're officially family.
Yes,
you go.
we are. We have consummated, I think.
I think the only thing that would be better is if we were sitting around like a table, like Daryl's house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, we just said that not even an hour ago.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. And I have a fire pit just out here that maybe down the road we might do a fire chat kind of session.
Yeah.
With certain people, and hey, come to my house. I don't invite everybody to my home. That's why I do a lot of these via Zoom. But you know,
barely lets me come in.
I barely he comes here early, and I'm like, dude, wait, I'm not there yet. You know. So Joseph, thank you for coming on, and you know, his last minute, so you know, or so.
Thank you for making the time and having me. I appreciate the both of you, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, let's just chat. So out the gate, I like to start from the beginning. I'm a beginning guy. You know, when I started playing music, I was in my teens. When did you get started playing music, and what steered you towards playing drums?
This was 1985. I was begging my mom to go see concerts, and my sister was 9 years older than me.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry, Joe. How old are you, if you don't mind me
asking? I'm 44.
Okay. 44. Okay, because my oldest sister was 9 years older than me as well. That's why I asked.
So I begged my mom to go see a concert, and it would just happen to be Kiss.
Oh my God.
They were my very first concert. It was the Animalized tour. It was Bruce Kulick, Eric Carr, Gene and Paul. They didn't have any makeup on.
Wow.
And I was watching Eric Carr just do, God rest his soul, one of the greatest drummers of rock history.
Indeed.
And I watched him do things with drums that I had never seen before. And I remember coming home from that concert, I got a tiny T-shirt, and I got a bandana, which I still have both of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was tugging on my mom's jeans going, Mom, I'm going to be a drummer. I'm going to be a drummer at 5, 6 years old. And my mom, as most parents would say, yeah, sure. So I taught myself how to play, no lessons. I started going to school early, and I started playing on the drum set at elementary school. And my first song I ever played was We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's. And that was really when my mom took notice and went, okay, I guess you got to have drum lessons. And she sometimes worked 2 jobs. The second concert that really influenced me was a few years later. It was Metallica. They were opening for Ozzy Osbourne's Ultimate Sin tour.
Wow.
And I've been a huge Lars fan. And another drummer, God rest his soul, Randy Cassillo, probably one of the other greatest rock drummers in history. Just big, loud, Bonham, passionate, looked good. Girls loved him. He had sex appeal.
He's a Native American badass drummer.
Yeah. Hey, can I raise my hand?
No.
I'm a guitar.
Come on with it.
I'm a guitar player. I don't know who Randy Cassillo is. Can you guys enlighten me?
Yeah, he was Ozzy's drummer when let's see, Bark at the Moon. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the era of the bass player Bob
Daisley?
Yeah, Daisley. Was that era?
Yes,
Okay.
that was that era.
Okay.
Randy was playing for some bands in because he's originally from New Mexico.
Okay.
And Ozzy happened to see him, and
Was it when he was at the Alamo?
Probably. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. But
I'm just kidding.
But when I say Randy was a star,
Yeah.
he was a showstopper.
Yeah.
He had that Tommy Lee flash,
Yes, he did.
flair. He had that big,
Yep.
solid. When you listen, probably my favorite record that Randy ever did was "No Rest for the Wicked."
Yeah. And
you want to listen to a great fucking record?
Yeah.
"No Rest for the Wicked." That's probably my favorite album.
Yep. And he was a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He was a good soul.
Yeah.
You know, he was one of the ones that we all wish was still around because he'd still be
doing it,
tearing it up.
Yeah. And he went on after Ozzy and worked with Motley Crue.
What? Wow.
Explain.
He did the new Tattoo record, and then right after that, he got a rare form of stomach cancer and passed away. He was one of my idols. One of my idols.
I knew about the cancer. I didn't realize he did new Tattoo.
Yep.
Really?
He did. Yep. He did new Tattoo, and in the middle of that tour, that's when Samantha Maloney from Hole came over and filled his
that's
spot.
right. I remember that. And she blew doors, dude. I saw her live in St. Louis play with them. She was so
badass.
good. Oh my God. That was such a great show.
Please hold. As a guitar player, are you telling me that Tommy Lee was not always the drummer for Motley Crue?
I forgot about that.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That was when Tommy, I do believe, well, there was that whole Pamela Anderson thing.
Yeah.
And then he went to jail for a while.
Wow.
And then they needed a drummer, and I think that's when that whole
area
right. Yeah. Wow.
Because remember, there was a time before that when Vince wasn't the singer for Motley Crue.
Yeah.
It was John Corabi.
That's right. Yeah.
What?
That's when he had Steve Stevens playing guitar.
Motley Crue went through all that. Well, I guess there was a lot of addiction to car crashes and all kinds of.
Well, that was early. But yeah.
Wow. But
in the 90s, late 80s or early 90s, yeah, Vince Neil had Steve Stevens playing guitar.
Wow.
Yep.
Who else was in the band, Joe?
This is now the second time Motley's had a different guitar player.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I forgot about Maloney. She was amazing. What is she doing now? Do you know? Yeah.
I don't know,
right,
but I'll tell you what, as a chick drummer, man, she's
on a video. They have a video out of them live with her playing drums. Yeah. And that's what I saw. I was like, I could sit there and watch it over and over. She is such a badass.
Well, I got to bring this up because it's amazing to me. But I'm a big Jeff Beck guy because obviously I'm a guitar player. This last tour that he was on when he died, he had a chick drummer that was the most accurate, proficient fill. Like her fills were so dynamite, and everyone had an exclamation point. It was like, bah, boom. I was like, wow. I mean, it was inspiring to me. And while you guys are chatting about this, I'm gonna look up who she was. Do you happen to know who he had on tour?
No, okay. But you know the cool thing about Jeff Beck, and I'll just throw this in. That was Jeff Beck was Mick Mars' idol.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot of people's idol. The first record Mick Mars ever got was Brave Up by the Yardbirds. Yeah. I mean, if you really go back into the history of Mick and his playing, and I mean, he has amazing technical ability, but there's a soul. Yeah. And I've been chomping at the bit to get this solo record. It still hasn't come out yet. I want to hear what Mick's solo record has to offer.
Yeah. Well, have you heard about sidetrack? Have you heard about um, uh, Dolly Parton's rock record. That's
That's about to come out. There's
who's
like
the bass
30
player?
something songs.
Who's the bass player with?
She's got
with
tons of bass
with
players.
Motley Crue.
Nikki
Sixx.
Yeah, Nikki Sixx is on a track with Dolly Parton, and I have to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's got a lot of heavy rockers that are on that record.
Yeah.
You know, you can say people can say what they want about Nikki Sixx, but he is a great bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it's okay. Yeah. So I asked Jamie about who the drummer was for Jeff Beck, and it's Annika Niles. Nilles.
Well, he's changed. He hires guns. Remember what's the girl's name? Tal Wilcom
Phil was on bass back in the day.
She was
broke
badass.
her career. Yeah, broke her career big time. But hey, as drummers, your homework, Annika Niles, Niles.
That name sounds so familiar. I mean, who did she play for before? There's the big question.
Yeah, well, I'll look that up. But I will tell you, as a fan going to a show, and not a drummer, I was like, I know the songs and I know what's supposed to happen, and like what was supposed to happen happened, but it happened. All of it happened with exclamation points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like all of her hits were amazing, and the bass player was Rhonda Smith, who was with Prince for many years.
Oh, there it is.
The rhythm section was just, I mean, and then Jeff just did his thing, and I turn around and 4 months later, 5 months, he was passed away, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
we are getting to an era as artists. If you have an artist that is like you're looking up to, and this is my guy, you better go see these elder artists now, because you may not be
legacy
able to see
bands.
Legacy bands.
Legacy
like,
bands.
When I was a kid, I was in my mom's living room, and I had my first drum set, and we had this old stand-up record player with the pop top on it.
Yeah.
I remember learning Sweet Emotion and Walk This Way and Hotel California, Take It Easy. I'm a huge Eagles fan. I love Aerosmith. You know, guitar players, nobody plays like Joe Perry.
No.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you know.
I love the Hollywood Vampires now. I've been digging on them for the last couple of weeks.
I think they just recently, like, I just saw, like, Johnny Depp, since Jeff Beck just passed away, you know, they were kind of doing a thing. And since he passed away, just like literally in the past 3 weeks, they're releasing some new stuff.
Are they?
Yeah. So check out Hollywood Vampires. Name the band is Johnny Depp. It's Joe Perry. It's Alice Cooper. It's on drums.
I can't.
Yeah, Glenn Sobel, one of the most technical drummers of a generation.
Yeah. They've switched it. Does him and Matt Sorum go back and forth, or is Matt Sorum done?
I think that I don't know, but I do know that you know, it's been Glenn's gig for a while.
Yeah. And he is amazing.
Chris Wise comes in from the Cult. Dude, that guy's badass.
Yeah.
Dude, man, he can play.
Yeah.
What's stand-up bass, regular, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
What a talented artist.
What's the video of the Boogeyman? That live video of them doing Boogeyman? You ain't ready for the Boogeyman. Have you ever seen that, Joe?
Yeah.
Is that the Hollywood Vampires? Boogeyman?
I think so.
It's so freaking badass, man.
The Boogeyman used to be kind of an old blues tune. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
just got this groove. It's got a swing groove to it, but it's just balls and chunk.
Well, did you hear the remake that they did of Heroes by David Bowie?
Yeah, it's fucking great. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
With Depp singing?
Spot on.
Yes, agree.
Yeah,
Totally
agree. I like when legacy talent. Let's not call them legacy bands, because now we're talking about, you know,
Legend
peoples.
talent.
legend talent, legacy talent. I like when they get together and they do something like that where they're like, you know, we're gonna do a cover of Blue Suede Shoes, and then you hear it and you're like, well, that's not like the version I ever heard, but it's
Right.
badass. You know, like, okay, I get it. You know, go for it because why not? You know, but uh, as far as you've mentioned a couple of bass players, Joe, and uh, obviously as a drummer, your favorite guy in the band that you or girl that you have to sync up with, you have to sync up with to be a rhythm section is the bass player. Um, are there certain bass players that you kind of do drummers look at, oh man, I want to listen to this bass player to see how they attacked a certain type of swing. You talked about swing.
Yeah,
Who are those bass players for you?
I love Billy Sheehan
Oh, yeah.
from Mr.
Wow.
Big.
Wow.
Yeah.
If
And
you
many
can keep
more.
up with him.
Yeah.
I love I love guys like Nikki Sixx that's just straight up bass line in that pocket. Let's drive it, let's groove it. Bass players like Led Zeppelin. You know, they had a really great, cool, sexy groove and a tone. It's really I like Niles Rodgers.
Oh wow. Yeah, we just talked about him.
It depends on what your flavor is. Do you want that straight up, you know, Primal Scream, groove, Motley Crue, or are you wanting that sexy funkadelic slap bass? You want to get funky Nile Rodgers,
Right.
Billy Sheehan type of technicality.
Yeah.
Each bass player, much like each drummer, has their own rock star inside of them.
Yeah.
And when they find what that is and they hone into it, that's where that magic comes about. Prince and Michael Jackson probably had the greatest musicians in their band.
Yeah.
Well, they were two of the greatest musicians that have ever walked the earth.
Yeah.
Especially, well, as far as a musician goes, Prince, in my opinion, was one of the greatest one of the greatest guitar players.
Yeah.
That I'd put him up against Eddie Van Halen any day.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
love Eddie. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but Prince was the most underrated guitar player on the planet.
Have you guys raising my hand here? Have you
No, come on, just
Yeah.
jump in.
Have you guys seen the video clip of Prince playing "While My Guitar Gently Weeps"?
Yeah, and he threw it up in the air and it
He
disappeared.
He threw his guitar up in the air and it disappears. That was brilliant and that was great and his playing was amazing. You know what? To me, the most amazing part of that whole video is
Where'd the goddamn guitar go?
I don't care. And here's why. The look on George Harrison's son's face. He was George Harrison's son.
Nobody could touch him.
Was playing rhythm guitar on this track, and when Prince was shredding, this kid was just like he was uncontrollable giddiness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Watch the video again and forget about all the fireworks that were going on, and look at George Harrison's son. His reaction to seeing Prince.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
And the cool thing is, or you know, unfortunately, where we are today, without having Prince anymore, is that kid can now say,
"You played with Prince.
I played with Prince on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. This guy was magical. I couldn't. It was Jimi Hendrix on stage. You know, for him, it was a Jimi Hendrix moment, and we still don't know where the guitar went. It was a Squier Telecaster, also as a guitar player.
Well, it was his main guitar.
Yeah, a cheap.
Now, here,
yeah.
One of my favorite performances by Prince was the Super Bowl.
Oh
yeah. No question.
The reason why I say that is because when you go back and you roll tape, listen to the way that he plays other people's music.
Yeah.
It's not a ripoff exactly of this man is playing it like he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like all along the Watchtower. And I mean, there's just this sensual, sexual, like that guitar is a woman to him, if that makes sense.
100%.
Like every emotion in him is coming out from every part and walk of his life.
Yeah.
I think that's what made Prince so tangible to everyone, and it's so sad that we've lost Jeff Beck, Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads. I mean, the list goes on and on.
It goes on. It's so long you can't even think of it.
Tom Petty.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Tom Petty, and can we go there, guys?
Yeah,
of course.
The reason we lost Prince and Tom Petty, and Coolio, and is what? Opiates laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Well,
we could even go as far as to say Soundgarden.
We could totally.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, yeah. Blind Melon.
Chester Bennington. I mean,
I was just getting ready to say Chester. Yeah.
Hey, likely Hutchinson in excess.
100%.
I mean, they want to.
Oh, Michael Hutchins. He had everything.
Yeah.
Man.
100%.
So
yeah.
So my point of that was saying that we have a opioid and fentanyl problem in the country, but we also have let's look at the mental health issue of the angst to be an artist, to be a creative, and put your heart and soul and literal life form out to the public, to be skewered by comments on social media, whether it's greatness or whether it's you suck, it's greatness, it's you suck. Demi Lovato, another one, great artist, ran into the same problem and luckily lived. We have a real problem.
Yeah,
we have a real problem with and the creatives have probably always had this problem, because I think Van Gogh cut his ear off.
Yep.
You know, there's always been angst.
The problem is, and I'm just going to say this for what it is. Musicians don't stand by musicians anymore.
No.
If you're not in, you're out. If you're not part of whatever that in
such a good
crowd
point.
is,
Oh my God, dude!
If you're not part of the in crowd, if you don't look, sound, what you're out. Like,
if you're not doing what we're doing,
and they have
fuck
no
you.
problem. They have no problems fucking pushing you out if they think that you are any type of a threat to whatever it is ego they have going on.
Yeah.
You could be the best player. You could be great looking, have talent. If they don't like you, they will do everything they can to push you out. I have a problem with this.
Yeah.
There are people that sit on my wall right here. Ricky Van Shelton, I Mother Earth, Dokken, Queensryche, Cracker, Chris Isaac, AC/DC, LA Guns, Firehouse, Aerosmith, Jimi Hendrix, Live, Dina Carter. These are all, I love all of these groups. And then I have a whole nother 3,000 CDs that are behind me. We, as a community, need to stop pushing each other out and start bringing each other in.
Yeah.
We can't keep marginalizing someone's talent just because someone has a fucking ego.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a great point.
At the same time,
I love you.
At the same,
I love you, and I love you,
Yeah.
and I appreciate what you bring to the industry.
Yep.
You have made the industry what it is for me. Go forward.
Yeah. But the ego thing that you bring up, I think also may be part of a person's downfall. Like
Mhm.
your ego, which you need. Let's be honest. You have to have an ego to step on a stage in front of 5 people.
Well, let's not confuse ego with confidence.
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
okay.
100%.
So that's a good.
Because I can get on stage and have full blown confidence and not get off stage and have an ego afterwards.
I have to get on stage and I have to play as if it's the last gig I'm ever going to play.
That's
And
just
I don't know
playing
if
your
that's-
ass off.
I don't know if that's confidence. I don't know if that.
It is
but
confidence.
But there's an ego and confidence conflict where you have to control them. It's like that voice on your right side that says, "Oh, yeah, today's a beautiful day," and the voice on your left side.
Confidence is your positivity. Ego is your negativity.
Do you want to know where as I'm listening to you of what I'm hearing? You have a humble nature.
Oh, he's extremely humble.
You're walking on stage and playing as if it's your last moment you're ever going to have.
Yes.
There is a humbleness and a humility because you love that art form.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Record labels don't stand behind us.
No.
A&R reps don't stand behind us. We're getting raped by Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
Yep.
The only money we're making is out of our merchandise.
Yep.
There is no money left. If
Yeah.
you look at all the old days, Casablanca, Crystalis, Enigma,
Right.
EMI,
Yeah.
they're all gone because
Yeah.
they've been bought up by 2 companies, Universal
Sony.
and Sony.
Yep.
And back in the day, and I know both of you remember, A&R reps used to come in and look at what you would sell. Like, how many butts did you have in the seats?
Yeah.
Now they look at you by how many streams you have
Yep,
on
right.
social media.
Yeah, it's
They
a
don't
completely
care how
different
good your
ballgame.
music is.
Yeah.
You're just a number to them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because we as artists write something, we record something. Now we're talking about, a month of time. And then we master something and then we put it up and we stream it. Pandora pays 0.00013.3% of a cent. YouTube pays 0.002, Spotify 0.003. There's no money in any of the streaming services. It's only as an advertising thing. And then you said merchandise. And one of the things that I've heard on this podcast that makes me almost sick to my stomach is that when you go play a festival, the festival wants to take a percentage of your merch.
They do.
So your $30 hoodie that you had, $45.
It's 55 to 60 to 75.
We went to a show
Yeah.
the other night. It was $70.
$75
for a hoodie.
That was the same thing that happened while I was out with Gene Loves Jezebel. We were playing House of Blues. It was in Los Angeles, and they wanted taxes on what we sold in merchandise.
Yeah. Tariffs. Let's call them what they are.
Yeah, that is what
Let's
it is.
call it what they are.
It is what it is.
It's a tariff
Yep.
on you performing in our pavilion, which you've already rented, right? When these, I might be wrong, so let's clear this up. Are you not, if you do a festival or if you do we just went and saw a show that was Mastodon, Gojira, and another band.
Somebody new.
Right. Did they not rent the pavilion in order to play that?
Well,
You have to.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to. So am I not renting the venue? I now own the venue,
No.
but that's not right. If
Well,
I'm paying
well, you don't own
25,
it. I mean,
am I not paying 25, 15, 25, $30,000 a night to have that venue? I should get beer sales. I should get merch, all of the merch.
That's not ever how it's worked.
That's not right. Ticketmaster makes their cut on their service charges. why are they taking?
Yeah, they take a percentage of your t-shirts. I've been on tour with Gojira twice. And I could have walked up to their merch table and got my own hoodie and t-shirt for free anytime I wanted. Yeah. The other night, I'm like, you know what? Gojira was really the only band I wanted to see.
They were great.
And I told these guys they're just nice guys and they're awesome. So we watched them play, and I walked out, went to the bathroom, and I was going to grab a hoodie. Yeah. I figured, I mean, $40, I'll buy a hoodie. I walked up, it was $75.
$75 for a hoodie.
It ain't happening. Yeah. And I didn't recognize the merch person, so it was like, they had their own people there, so
I am the biggest Aerosmith fan you'll ever meet. And I was going to go to this Peace Out tour. Got online, 2,000 people in front. 15 minutes later, over half the Coliseum was done. Floor seats for the first half of the stadium was $1,000, I think, $65 a piece.
Wow.
The back half was $900. Mid bowl was $500. Nosebleeds were $375.
Right.
Now, I get cost has gone up, and I get that inflation has gone up. It's hard for me to actually say, okay, I'm going to take a girl a date to go see a concert, and I'm going to fork out almost $3,000 for floor seats to go see a band.
Well, don't you believe that's bots? I have to believe that's bots. I don't think that's the band.
No, and I'm not saying anything against Aerosmith. I think somebody has their hand in the bucket, in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
And I think that they are inflating these costs so high, it's making it to be a rich man's game.
Well, that
could be, but
is that not the same thing?
The ticket sales go on, like the second they go on sale, they're like almost all gone. And if you do find one that you want, that's when you click on it and it's like $1,000, like you're saying. $900 or whatever.
What was the deal with Taylor Swift where they're like suing? Is it Live Nation?
Ticketmaster wanted $22,000 for a floor seat
at her show.
So that can't be real. I mean, she controls.
It made news. It made national news.
It went to Congress.
Well, she controls. What are you talking about? She controls her own everything. She's in control of her own business dealings.
Right.
So if those tickets legitimately cost that much, they're because of her.
They don't. They were $1,500 seats. That got inflated by these bots and peripherals that brought it to $22,000 a ticket. So now we're talking about like this is mob stuff.
Well, I mean, it's no different than back in the day when people used to scalp tickets.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is we as artists, and I say all across the board, rock, blues, country,
hip-hop,
heavy metal, classic rock, hip hop, classical opera, there has to be a point in time where we look at each other and we have to start swinging for each other and going, hey, our art form is becoming a slowly dying art form.
Yeah, actually a quickly dying art.
Kix just announced that they're retiring in September.
Who?
Kix.
Oh, yeah.
45 years they put in.
Yeah.
And the singer he was ballsy. He goes, my health is failing. My drummer's health, I know, isn't good. And it's just time.
Yeah.
We're watching people that we grew up on and that we've loved going by the wayside. And
my other band
go ahead, Rick.
The people that are behind it all are the gentlemen like yourself that are the tour managers.
Yeah. Stage,
I
yeah.
actually wasn't the tour manager. I was the stage manager for Fozzy.
Well,
Yep.
Stage manager.
Yeah.
You are still a management individual. You are
Yeah.
still taking care of a crew.
Yeah, things
Yeah.
had to be taken care of a certain way, and they had to go a certain way, and that was my job to
And
make
if it didn't go that way, the show wasn't right.
right. And it was my fault. That's right.
Yep.
So the biggest, where was I going?
The biggest thing is that when you have a show happening, you've got so many moving parts.
Yes.
From the bus driver, catering. Dude, let's not forget about catering and the people that take care of the green room. You know, you've heard legendary stories about Van Halen had a rider.
Right.
I was actually fulfilling riders for Lakewood Amphitheater one summer and had to go shopping. I had to go shopping for the shit that was on their lists, and I mean a specific type of Evian water.
Well, that was kind of partially my job.
Right.
If something wasn't in our guest or our green room,
Yep.
By the time the person I was working for got there,
The artist, the talent, they call it the talent. Yeah.
I had to find our guy,
Yeah.
that our runner,
Yep.
is what we called him, and he would take me where I needed to go to get what it was that said artist needed.
Yep. Yeah.
And make sure it was there.
So let's take this. Let's go with this. So that season, that summer that I did that, I was at the venue buying what was on the rider. You were the guy coming behind me for the artist saying, it's not Evian. Yeah, it's wrong. And making me go back out and get the right thing, or having your runner go, and that's a check. Dink.
Yeah, we've never had that. I've never had that happen.
But those types of things, there's so many things, moving parts that go on to pull off a show.
There's no question.
You know that it's kind of unreal that a show actually happens. You know.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, you know, you've got, if we really go down the line, you've got the venue,
Yep.
security, police, fire. A fire marshal has to come in and okay the venue before it even happens to make sure that you're at capacity. If you've got pyrotechnics,
That's right.
It's even worse.
Can we use our geysers or not?
Yeah.
Yep. And then you've got key grips, lighting technicians, sound technicians, in-ear monitor technicians, front of house guys, back of house guys. Then you've got all of your management people. If you've got wardrobe, if you've got tour bus drivers, truck drivers that are driving big rig. I mean, and the one thing that I have to say is, I think people are now starting to realize, after we have now come out of this COVID era, how important these individuals, these men and women are that put on shows every day. Mind you, they're doing it 8 a.m. until 2 a.m. There's a small window where us musicians walk in and go, hey, we're the rock stars.
Yeah.
We show up at 4 or 5 in the afternoon and leave at 11.
And my inner mix sucks. Can we fix this? You know, that's how we show up. Like, you know, hey, my I can't really hear this very well. A little whiny kind of thing. That's an interesting thing that you talk about the COVID era, because all these people that you just talked about were gig workers. If you remember COVID, you were essential, you were non-essential, and then there were gig workers, and you had to submit to try to get, you know, reimbursed or paid something for what you would have possibly made as a gig worker. And I think not all of those, but a lot of those people really struggled to get any support from the government because they were a gig worker.
There was no support.
You know,
I mean, when we played Sturgis for the bike rally, we
21, 22, 20.
21.
Yeah.
We didn't have to wear our masks anywhere around where we were, except for on stage,
Yeah.
because TMZ was just waiting for the chance to take a shot that was going to get somebody in trouble for whatever.
They love to take a shot.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, that's what they do, right? That's their whole.
Well, it's a story.
Right.
But from the musician standpoint, this industry wouldn't be the industry if it wasn't for the people that were behind the scenes.
Right. And that's
and we have to go all the way back to the early days.
Yeah. When you say early days, elaborate on that. What are you talking about? Are we talking about Hendrix and Hawaii?
Oh, I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about the blues era coming into the Elvis era, when rock and roll really started happening. I mean, Elvis really was that first superstar that really had what you would call a core crew.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to go all the way back to the olden days that were before us, the predecessors that came before us, the Elvises and the Led Zeppelins and the Jimi Hendrixes and the Doors and the Aerosmiths and on down. Yeah. I mean, all the way down to metal bands like Mushroom Head, to Five Finger Death Punch. I mean,
Five Flavor Fruit Punch.
I mean, I'm just saying that there are guys and girls out there who live and die to be road crew.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
You're right. You're 100% right. I know several of them, and they work their butts off.
Yeah, I did it.
I did it too.
I did it
too.
I thought it was.
I mean, I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the musician side and the road crew side and the touring management side. All of it.
I think it's good for any artist that's on a stage performing have to do an internship, so to speak.
They should have to. Yeah,
they should have to do the grunt work that goes to making sure your chicken marsala.
It'll put their ego in check. Sure.
Well, we talked about ego earlier. It's like you have to understand that the smelly plate that we used to joke about as artists in the green room, the smelly tray with the Hovan turkey roll wrapped in a tortilla, those things. Hey, when you needed it as an artist, it was in your green room. You ate one. And you hoped that you were okay tomorrow.
You would get through the gig.
Yeah. But somebody went and they got that. Somebody cared enough to make sure that you had some sort of substance to put in your belly before you went on stage. And you better be gracious.
Yeah. We always had...
I don't have anything on my rider that's... all I want is water or some type of a Gatorade or a orange juice or a fruit juice or something. Like, I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So
I don't either. No.
I've been 3.5 years sober, and
good for you.
And I don't care what kind of water it is. I'll take Kroger water.
Yeah.
I don't care. Anything that will get me through. I'm not a picky artist.
Yeah.
I'll eat sandwiches. I'll eat turkey off the damn leg. It
fill
doesn't
the void,
matter.
right?
Yeah.
I'll eat a damn ham and cheese sandwich if that's all you got.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I do want is a good mix in my ears.
Yeah.
I want to be able to hear.
Well,
I want to be able to hear
things.
him. I want to be able to hear Michael. I want to hear Hope Sanker, my guys, and that. I just want to be able to hear. So give me the extra time that we would have been looking for.
Ham sandwich.
No, let's go. What's the most extravagant thing that you have seen on a rider? Like random, like, really, guys? Okay.
Patron Silver.
That's on the rider? Yeah. not important.
specific bottles of wine.
Yeah.
My,
I've seen
my
that.
guy got a bottle of Grey Goose every night.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah. And you know, that's easy. But what Joe's talking about is like, you know, I'd like
Something hard to find.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like a bottle of Meiomi from 2018. Well, we only started bottling it 2020.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Good luck, you know. Almost
I
like
think
it's
we have that over in the fuck you aisle.
Yeah, yeah. And venues should actually have the ability to put that in that aisle.
Yeah.
You know, like Red Mark, that's in that aisle. You
Yeah.
know, Trader Joe's.
And
Hey, we're getting you $2 Chuck, and you're gonna like it. Or is it $3?
and that's why whenever I look at a writer, I'm just like, just give me something to
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
reasonable.
gonna sweat my ass off, and please give me some type of a towel that I can just wipe my face off or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go buy me some designer towel from Macy's.
Yeah.
Just give me a bar towel that's clean,
Yeah, man.
that doesn't smell,
Yes.
and just give me some Kroger water or a Gatorade.
Yeah.
I don't care what flavor it is.
Yeah.
Just get me through the night. Like, I am so simple.
Yeah. That's important.
You
thing
are
is
simple,
that I-
dude.
Yeah.
And that's the way to be. I'm the same way too. It's like, you know,
And don't make me sleep in a Roach motel.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Woo.
Hey, you can be with the biggest of the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
and you're still gonna end up there.
Yeah. You could.
You could.
Yeah.
And you have. And the
Yeah.
bus, you could be on. I've been on a bus called. We actually named it the Roach Coach,
Yeah.
and had to stop and pull over and have it fumigated.
Infested, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
with a major national
Yeah.
act.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, do you guys remember the meme that was like, what my family thinks I do, and it's like, you know, Kiss with all the fireworks and all that, and then it's like what my friends think I do, and it's like, you know, same type thing with lights, and then what I really do, and it's literally a day's in.
Yeah.
With you always on the road in a hotel, pull the comforter off the top, because that's always been there since 87, and
Yeah.
we don't know what's on the comforter, so you always pull the comforter back, and then you kind of check things out.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's where I thought my warmth
Yeah.
came from.
No, number one thing, always pull the comforter off, and no number two on the bus.
Oh yeah, well, that's
Now,
that's a given.
here's a question, and I know that y'all are having me on the show, but I want to ask both of y'all a question. And this comes from artist to artist. Out of all the years you toured, and out of all the things that you've done, who would you say your absolute favorite artist to work for or work with would be?
Joan Jett.
Oh, that was quick. Boom.
Yeah. Or Def Leppard. We were nose to nose. Paulie D was our bass player at the time. He plays with who does 99 Red Balloons?
99.
Yeah, Red Love Balloons.
Yeah, okay. So her bass player was Fozzie's bass player, the band I worked for. Sorry. Anyway, I worked for Fozzie. So he was her bass player. He is her bass player now. Nina.
Yep.
And so he was, where was I going with that whole story?
Well, you had a good time with the bass player.
That
The
was
bass
awesome.
player.
So Joan Jett was probably,
Because she was cool.
she was cool. I got to meet an icon. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to walk down the beach of Haiti with the guys from Anthrax, the lead singer and bass player for Anthrax. I got to meet Joan Jett, hang out with the guys in Def Leppard. You know, I happened to walk out of commissary and there's Joe Elliott brushing his teeth. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And all of a sudden I realized our tour buses are parked nose to nose. So yeah, stuff like that. Surreal moments were, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite though. I don't think.
Well, I would have to say,
I let me say this real quick though, because this is funny. I wanted to take my picture with Joan Jett.
Yeah. Tell them.
our dressing rooms were right next to each other, and I'm hanging out with Billy Gray, who I don't know if you know who he is. He's one of the best guitar players I know.
Badass.
Yeah, him and I are hanging out, and we're coming from the stage back along where all the bus, not the buses, the tractor trailers are backed up to the unload the gear. And we're watching this squirrel going, look at that little squirrel. Because we're both into nature and everything. Anyways, hey, here comes Joan Jett. Get your phone ready. Get your picture. So I get my phone out. I turn it on. I hit it on camera. And she comes walking up. And I'm like, hey, let me get my picture with you real quick, Joan. I get my head next to her and I put my phone up. And it's pointed towards the ground, the camera itself.
Oh, shit.
She said, oh, you got to turn that shit around, man. And so I hit the button, turned it around, and I got a great shot of us.
Hey, when Joan Jett has to tell you, hey, bro, you got to flip the camera if you're going to get this selfie.
She was just like New York, like, hey, man, you got to turn that shit around, man.
That's awesome. Well, I will say I played in a band with Swift from Hope's Anchor. We played in a band called Sexy Circus, and we opened for Little Richard. We opened for him in Macon, Georgia, when he made his homecoming. He made his homecoming back to Macon, and we got to play that show. But before that, I think what led to that show was we played the Whiskey A Go-Go in L.A., and we played it, and the rumor mill was swirling, saying, "Hey, King's going to be here tonight," and that's what they called him. It's King's going to be here tonight. He's gonna be showing up. It's gonna be great. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm just tuning my guitar and getting ready. Let's go. And then a limo showed up, and Little Richard comes out, goes up into the balcony at the Whiskey A Go-Go and watches our set. And no pressure, you got Little Richard watching you play what you're gonna do, and then he took us out to dinner after the show at it was chicken and waffle. Was it Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle?
Roscoe, yeah,
Roscoe's in L.A. And I'm like, what is happening? I just played a show, and Little Richard is taking us to dinner at Chicken and Waffles in L.A., and we have like a private room and all this stuff. It was surreal, but it was also one of those times where you're like, this is actually happening. Don't freak out and don't act weird.
Right.
Right.
Any of these legacy, we talked about legacy artists, and if you ever have the chance to meet a star or a celebrity in a environment where it's just you and them,
they're your peer.
Yeah, just treat them as an awesome human being,
right? And
don't freak out.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, I respect what you I love what you do. It's amazing. It inspired me. Stop there.
Yeah.
Don't go.
I had that opportunity with Greg Bissonette.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's
drummer
cool.
for David Lee Roth. I was at NAMM, and we were at Bonzo Bash, and I was in the balcony, and it was me, the drummer for Puddle of Mud, Dave, me and Dave, and there was another cat. I want to say he was from like the Kinks or the Pistols. And then there was Greg Bissonette. Greg was standing right behind me. I didn't even know Greg was there.
Yeah.
And I turn around, and here's one of my drumming idols, like standing right in front of me. Greg was and is probably the most humble cat I think I've ever met in my whole life.
Yeah.
He shook my hand. We took photos together. We talked about drums. And then I've never seen an artist fan before, but The drummer that plays now with, oh, what's his name? He was in CCR. Um,
The original drummer in CCR.
no, Kenny Arnoff.
Oh, yeah,
Kenny.
yeah.
Kenny Arnoff comes out and plays, and Greg, I'm not shitting you, runs down to the end of the balcony and is like fanboying
Hell yeah.
over Kenny Arnoff play
He's a
drums.
slugger.
He's like, this is my boy. I love he's like my favorite drummer, and I love him. And he was just so excited. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I could have fanboyed a little bit around him, but I didn't, and I probably could have because now I'm watching him like totally
do the same.
get excited. Yeah, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. That's one thing to kind of think about is that you don't think that Jeff Beck fanboyed Jimi Hendrix when he saw him in a basement venue in London in '68.
There's no doubt he probably did.
You know, they actually were scared. I mean, I think Jimi Hendrix scared a lot of guitar players, but just always realize that the person that you look up to that is amazing and brilliant in their own way, fanboys on somebody.
Yeah.
And
that's true. And I got to hang out. I'm actually I'm not going to say I'm friends with, but I know Mike Portnoy now.
Yeah.
He's always
Portnoy's badass.
Yeah. Always been one of my favorite drummers since Images and Words. I know him now.
Love Dream Theater.
I got to fill in. Okay, here. Check this out, Joe. I sat in for Artemis Pyle. He was cramping up. My band opened up for the Artemis Pyle band. Say Never is the name of my band. And he was cramping up really bad, and he eats bananas. He taught me,
pickles.
Eat a bunch of bananas. He's got this cream that he rubs on. And anyway, he yelled for somebody to go grab me. And they came and got me, and I ran back there, and I ran up to the drum riser. I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Can you play this song? I gotta go put on my cream. I'm cramping really bad." I'm like, "Get up." So he got up, and I sat and played, and it was an all-star band. It was Rich Ward, it was Chris Jericho, it was Billy Gray, it was, they got several guys from Fozzy, several guys from other bands, and it was one of the coolest moments for me, personally. But I can say that I filled in for Artemis Pyle from Leonard Skinner.
Was it a Skinner song? Do you remember?
It was not. It was an AC/DC song. But yeah,
nice.
It would have been cooler if it was a Leonard Skinner song.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, that's a good point. Again, I already said it. If you have a legacy artist that you're a fan of that is possibly playing a show near you, to me right now, currently, it's King's X. I see them when they come to town. It's part of my sound. It's now it's a thing. And they're going to be coming in July. So I'm like, boom, 4 tickets. Got to have them. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you have to go and see and pay the stupid fees that we're getting raped on from Ticketmaster and everybody else.
We're getting ready to go to see Dream Theater.
Yeah, Dream Theater.
Just him and I is $200 to go see him.
It's ridiculous.
I've always wanted to meet Hart.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't?
And I think that would probably be the coolest thing is to sit down with Anne just at a table having lunch or whatever, and just what was it like being a chick in this male-driven industry
in the 70s,
in the late 60s, early 70s, and completely dominating. Like,
Benatar,
to be in that Jimi Hendrix era, and that Led Zeppelin era.
Who was your favorite Hart drummer?
Oh, wow.
I like the original when it was Howard Leese off the original record.
Okay. I like him too, but I'm a Denny Carmassi guy.
I like him too.
I just liked what he did in the 80s stuff. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah. Yeah, Never and Alone and Shell Shock.
Even when
And
he
I mean,
played Barracuda live, though, have you ever seen him
oh
play?
God,
Come
he
on,
was,
he's sick.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna raise my hand again. I'm just a guitar player, but rumor has it that in Barracuda the song, it's 4/4, and then there's like a short bar of like 2/4 or something on a turnaround that I've heard people talk about that I'm like, I don't know, I don't hear it because I just hear dum 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 dum
It's all through the song.
dum
Well, it's not all through the
You
song. It's about
now
halfway through,
Yeah.
and then it goes on.
and listen to the studio version, then listen to the live version.
Yeah.
You'll hear it.
So which one is more prolific?
You're talking about the bump bump.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but there's yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Bum,
Yeah.
bum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as drummers, you guys are listening that intricately. I know you are because I play with you with some crazy stuff, but uh dun, 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 bum, bum. If you're not accenting those type things with the guitar riff, so we talked about bass players with the drummers being a rhythm section, but now you got to add that crazy guy on the guitar or girl that's doing riffs and melody, and there are hits that you if you accent. What's the accent I always ask you for uh, the song "Time"? Yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, there's
Is that the one you're talking about?
Um, I have to think about it for a second. I think it's in time. It's in the key of A minor. And we're playing this thing, and there's like a thing where I go, down, down. No, it's a slug.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a hit in the slug that I asked
Right.
for from the drummer. I was like, listen, when we do this, I want you to go bam bam when I do this part. So music is not just bass and drums being the rhythm section, a singer singing this melody. Uh, there's so many intricate things going on. That's what keeps us interested.
well, there's bands
Yeah.
where the drummer's actually playing more with the guitar player than the bass player.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that.
yeah,
And
'Cause I've
actually,
writ-
I
I've
think
written-
we are one of them. But I hang with our bass player
yeah.
for the basic part of it. But for the technical weird stuff that we're doing
Yeah.
fill wise,
Yeah.
I hang with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It-
So I go back and forth.
I've written music around a bass player, but I've also written drums around a guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of all. But I've learned when you talk about technical ability and when you're talking about those hits and stuff, Ray Luzier is probably one of my favorite drummers.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And there's a video that he's got on YouTube, and he talks about fills and making each fill pronounced,
Yeah.
slow and controlled, making sure that every note is heard, every groove is heard. You know, when you talk about, in my opinion, now one of the greatest rock drummers that has progressed as we've rolled through a lot of the drummers that I've talked about. You know, Ray's been with the Atomic Punks. He then went to David Lee Roth. He then played with the DeLeo brothers in Army of Anyone, which was a fucking great record. And now he's with Korn.
And
Probably one of
hold on, I got to stop you there because I actually have played with Ray Luzier. I can raise my hand.
I was just getting ready to say, I mean,
I've actually played with him.
well, let
No,
John, let
I got to
Joe.
bring up at KXM.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
KXM.
You know, but proggy, in the pocket, metal drummers. I don't think that there's anybody right now on the planet that when you talk about worlds apart, that step above, that there's something that Ray has.
Well, that's what he says.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not if a drummer's better than another drummer. It's what tools they have and how they use them.
Or the tools are these. Listen. But when I played with Ray Luzier,
Yeah, but certain people can mechanically work a certain way, and other drummers can mechanically work another way.
Yeah.
And so it's not that you're bad or can't play something that he can play. It's
Yeah.
just that you play it differently.
You would do it different. Yeah.
Right.
So
Agreed.
when I got to play with him, I was on a podcast and we just happened to be on the same night. And when I met him, he was like, did his interview, then we did our interview.
Let's give Scott Bowling a plug.
And Scott Bowling had Hope's Anchor on the same night that Ray Luzier was there.
And Say Never. Well, different night.
Yeah, different night. But Scott was going to play like cajon hand drums kind of thing on this acoustic version of one of our songs. And he's like, well, why don't we ask Ray to do it? And I was like, what do you mean? 2 Rays in one band? That'd be amazing. I love it. Let's do it. And I literally, I verbally walked Ray Luzier through the structure of the song. Okay, we're going to go do an intro. We're going to go to verse. Then we'll do a chorus. We'll come back to it, verse. I walked him through verbally one time, and then we practiced it one time, and then we went live.
He said, let me show you how it really should go.
Yeah. And this guy proceeded to play the cajon, and he was playing the cajon perfectly, and he was doing the build-ups with us.
Ray Luzier.
And he did the dropouts with us. Then he did this. He had a ring on his right thumb.
His snare drum.
Yeah, and he started using the ring on his thumb finger, I guess you would thumb finger, as the snare. So he was hitting the boom. Now he's clacking with that ring on his thumb, and I'm like, this guy's using jewelry to play drums on this track. And
I agree, Joe. Ray Luzier is one of the few.
I think you're right.
One of the rarest of unreal drummers on the planet that just have something that when he's playing, it's him. It's like Portnoy. When he's playing, it's him.
Yeah.
It's like the Police.
Yeah, when it's Stuart Copeland, it's
snare.
him.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Can you do the side, what do they call it? Side stick, side hand? Snare?
Oh, open hand?
No, traditional grip.
Traditional grip.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
You can?
That's an art form.
Yeah, traditional grip was actually one of the first grips that I learned how to do when I started doing private lessons.
Do you use it a lot?
In Salt Lake City, Utah.
Do you use it?
Am I really great at it?
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's definitely probably one of the greatest traditional grip drummers, Todd Zuckerman from Styx.
Oh, dude, he's one of the best drummers on the planet. Period.
Wow. Now, was that the original?
But I mean, when you talk about somebody that uses a drumstick in a traditional grip, he karate chops this fucker on the snare, and I don't know how he can without breaking a finger because he hits so hard.
You've seen the videos of him where it's just him isolated and you just hear the drums. Right?
Yeah.
You've seen those videos?
I got to raise my hand.
Let me finish.
I got to raise
He
my
is a sick individual to be able to play the way that guy does. And he'll look over at his drum tech and smile and just like, or break a stick. And, I mean, he's one of the best drummers on the planet, period.
I got to raise my hand. Are you guys talking about the original Styx drummer, like it was on Grand Illusion, and that who's drumming with them now currently?
Todd Zuckerman.
Same guy? So who was the original?
I believe so.
I believe it's the same guy.
Okay, so this is the original drummer from Styx.
I can't give you 100% yes
that I see on Facebook, and he's got like his drum.
I'm only 54. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, Todd. When you talk about master class musician, Todd, Ray Luzier, Glenn Sobel, Portnoy, Neil Peart, these guys are there's something magical
They're a
about
step
them.
above.
Yeah. They make it look easy when it's extremely difficult. And that's what a pro does. If you're a pro at basketball, Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
oh, that looks
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
If you're a pro on ice hockey, Gretzky,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
you see pros.
Brett Hall.
Yeah, Brett Hall. Well, you see
Yeah.
pros do it. Kyle Busch, I'll say it. He'd just go out and win races in a crappy car.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's a douche, but yeah, you're right.
yes. That's ego versus what we call confidence, or what we say earlier. Ego. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. These people just make the extremely difficult look easy.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between this and this. Now that's the high echelon. Now we're talking about below that. We're talking about, regional type bands. Then you're talking about, best in the city bands. Then you're talking about, garage bands. And there's a tier to work up all the way through that. And this guy down here may never get to be up here, but he's having just as much fun playing music. And it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult for this guy at the bottom to even get a show in his city. I'd like to talk for a second about. We've had a lot of fanboys talk about, our influences and our experiences, but let's talk about the music scene. And I'd like to know, you're in Nashville, Tennessee. I know Nashville, and I know that at any given night there are more than 20 venues on the strand there that have live music. How many
It's
of
dog dog. It's
yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
you have to be the best of your craft
Yeah.
in order to make it work.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks ago, I just had lunch with a really great friend of mine. Jake Summers plays with Luke Combs.
Yep.
And he's a phenomenal drummer. He just left Yamaha and went over to Craviotto. You got to be a special individual to get a handmade drum set by Craviotto.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's amazing. And he's such a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul. Another one of the great drummers that's in our town is the drummer for Aldine, Rich Redmond.
Oh yeah.
That man can play everything.
So that's a good point that you're bringing up. We're talking about genre differences now, and you can go and see what you deem a country band, and I'm putting air quotes up because these guys that are playing this type of music can also play jazz. I mean, these are like some of the most prolific players. They can play anything. They could probably play prog rock. They could probably do whatever it is you want to do. When I went and saw Brad Paisley, and
great artist.
Brad Paisley started playing Van Halen songs, and I was like, "What? I'm at a country show, and this guy's walking through the crowd, shredding like Eddie Van Halen." Don't be surprised that the guys out of Nashville can play anything and do play anything, and that goes from drummers to the guitar players to that whatever.
I'll give you 2 country artists, and if you never listened to them, pick it up and just take a listen to the bass and the drums. Brantley Gilbert.
Yep.
His drummer's awesome and has hair like our brother.
Right, like Rick.
And Hardy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hardy's drummer is bass drum technical. Holy shit. That dude can play double bass like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys it's back in the early days, it was country. It was twangy. It was very much traditional. Now, you're having some of the greatest rock talent that are
Yep.
playing in country music. So, I mean, really, the genres have bled over, and I think that that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
nice to
agree.
see that rock and country can come together and really do some really neat things. But yeah, it's dog eat dog. I work with the studio here, and it's a really great studio. I record every now and again, but right now I'm just focused on this new project that I'm going to audition for next week, and I'm just thankful to be here.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I mean, if you're an artist and you're playing, it's just kind of one of those things where you have to just keep grinding. You just have to keep playing. If you're not doing your own material, then you have to keep doing auditions, and you have to find spots for you to come in and you know try to go for a gig and get a gig. Uh, it is a bit country. It's a bit country. Uh, uh, it where you live is going to be. I'm auditioning for a country artist, or is there much metal or rock coming out of Nashville?
Dude, Vince Neil lives here.
Oh, well, yeah, there
Mick
you go.
Mars lives here. The
Yep.
Skid Row guys live here.
Yeah,
I mean, John Corabi lives here.
yeah. I think Luzier lives there.
Luzier lives here.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, when there's a little bit of both. There's rock, there's country, there's blues, I mean, really, you can find whatever you want here.
Yeah.
And it just depends on where you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, the two studios that people record at, LA, Nashville.
Yeah.
So now that you and I are just sitting here, is there an artist in your list of many that you haven't worked with but would like to work with?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. I'm actually to the point now where I don't necessarily want to go out and work with anybody. As far as doing anything for them, unless they want to hire me as a drummer, you know.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
I like what I'm doing right now with Ray. I like what I'm doing. I've got 3 different projects that I'm in. Actually, soon to be 4. 2 of which are with Ray. The other one's with the bass player that plays with us. So I'm not looking for anything national anymore. I'm looking just to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't even care if we're playing for free. I just want to play in front of fun crowds that want to hear the music we're putting out.
Yep.
The show that we have put together, we'll have to send it to you so you can see. Did I send
You're
it?
you're gonna have to send me the link so
Yeah.
that I can go on Spotify and
yeah.
I can subscribe to you guys because I want to support you.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, anybody else listening, please subscribe to the Original Music Podcast. That'd be the number one thing, so that you can see new episodes. Joseph Larsen is probably one of my favorite interviews so far.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, very much so,
But-
because we're talking actual brothers in a room. Hey, man, what are we going to do,
But to answer your question, no, there isn't really anybody that I'm looking. I mean, I could put my feelers out and probably get, some kind of a
I
gig for-
mean like a bucket list. Like
okay,
Oh.
bucket list. Let's
Oh.
go.
yeah, if there was one artist that you've never worked with. or
Okay, let me
worked
tell you
for-
this. I hung out with Zoltan the other night. Do you know Zoltan Chaney?
Yeah, he plays with Slaughter and Vince Neil.
Right. I hung out with him the other night. He was a super cool guy. And if I was going to be just somebody's drum tech or just hang out with somebody, he was just like so down to earth and normal and calm. Him and I are the exact same age. It was like, okay, him and I could work together, no problem.
Yeah.
So it would be somebody like that. It wouldn't be, like I watched Ray and I a few weeks back went and saw Winery Dogs, and
Oh, my
I got to
goodness.
watch Portnoy's drum tech sit back behind
Oh.
him and just move his mic stand back and forth all night long.
Yeah, that was not good.
That for me, that's the last
Yeah.
fucking thing I would ever want to do.
Yeah.
And when I
Mike.
was stage managing for Fozzy, I didn't have to move a lot of gear, because we had pushers. You show up to a gig and it's like, all right, you tell people where stuff goes.
Yep.
So no, I don't want to be on the road anymore. I don't think I'm just past that point. You know what I mean? I'm 54 years old. I'm not.
Yeah.
I can still play like I can play like a kid.
Yeah, put it down and play it hard.
Right.
But to answer your question, it's no. I don't have anybody in particular that I think that I have a bucket list that I wish I would have been able to work with or work for.
No, I want to be the artist, and I want to be an artist. I want to have
Yeah.
I want to have 3 RVs. Your
Yeah.
family's
Yes.
RV, my family's RV, and the bass player's family's RV.
Yeah.
And I want to go and do artsy theaters, like circa 1913.
No fucking
newer.
brown M&M's gotta go.
Yeah, don't even care about M&Ms.
Okay.
I want to do artsy, old school theater district type shows in RVs with our wives, where we can take a couple of days to go to Glacier National Park.
Wow, that sounds magical.
That's what
That's
I want
awesome.
So the coolest thing that I will tell you that I got to do with who I was working with was we did open up for Iron Maiden in California.
Yeah, you were.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
And they flew our wives out after that show. It was in a stadium. It was in front of 50,000 people. After the show, we all got on the tour bus. Our wives drove with us in the tour bus to Vegas, and we were there for 3 days and got to hang out and go see shows and just do whatever we wanted to do.
You closed out
time.
the tour there, right?
That was where we closed out that particular tour. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I met Nico. I met Nico at NAMM.
Yeah,
It was the last big NAMM before the pandemic, and I was walking out of the convention center. He was walking in, and we just kind of like looked at each other like, yeah. And he was like talking to your dad.
Yeah.
Sweet.
If your dad was
He's a
cool and
trip.
played drums, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I got this new kit, and it's British Drum Works or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and it's just all matte black kit." He's like, "Come by tomorrow. I want to show you my kit." And
he's got no
he's
ego
like
whatsoever.
totally geeking out about drums. I'm like,
Yeah.
"You're a legend. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two, I love your music, and number three, you're fucking awesome."
Yeah. And in the best thing that you just said there was that he was geeky and giddy.
He was geeking out on drums.
He was geeky and giddy about a new product or a new drum, and he just wanted to show you.
Yeah.
That's
fucking Joe Larsen. What are you talking about?
I know, right? But I mean, it's
You know
they
what?
are
I'm not on the
just-
caliber of Nico, but what a hell of a drummer.
Yeah, they are just as excited to share what they have as you are to receive it.
Yeah.
If you're having a kind of an inner relationship kind of a moment where you're like, yeah, there's no weirdness going on.
Right.
He wants to share what he's excited about with you just as much as you're excited about meeting him. And that's where the weirdness gets in, is if you're
fanboy.
Yeah, if you're fanboying
right.
with
they're your peers. That's what I said.
You're a peer with even the greatest of players.
That's right.
If you just talk to them that way.
That's right.
They'll respect you. I'm not going to shred like Tim Henderson with Polyphia, but I got my Kemper right here and I do what I do, and we can talk guitar on a level that will supersede a normal fanboy fan of the public, as long as you just approach a conversation naturally and end up with, hey, what do you think about the new Kemper update? That kind of a thing. usually if you go that kind of route with them, with talking about something that only a professional would know, the gate's open.
Yeah. Our believe it or not, we were in the stadium and the crew that was working the stadium just doing different things throughout the load-in area and the stage tried to steal our bass rig. They
Whoa.
tried to steal the head,
Wow.
our hardkey head. Yeah, and I spotted it. It was like, it's right there against that wall, and they were trying to hide it. We went over and grabbed it. I was like, motherfuckers, give me that. Anyway, so Bruce Dickinson walks past my wife, and my wife couldn't get over how short he was.
But he's got swords and shit. You know?
He doesn't seem like he's that tall.
He's shorter than I am. I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
But he walked past and he winked. You know, he was cool. They were all cool.
Yeah. Legend.
I mean, the voice that comes out of him is just like,
come on. There's nothing like it.
Hey,
so
Ronnie James Dio, same thing.
Yes.
I mean, listen to the voice that comes out of him.
Real quick on Dickinson. Could you imagine being a passenger on an airplane that happens to be flown
his
by
pilot, him piloting it,
him piloting it,
yeah.
and him coming on?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, imagine him singing the.
All of a sudden, he comes out singing "Aces High."
Okay, well, look, this is like the longest one I think we've had so far. We're going on 2 hours, but I want to talk about gear still.
Well, I'd like to talk about what before gear. You know, what was your first band name?
We haven't even touched on that.
Yeah, what was your first band that you were ever in?
First band I ever had, it was in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
The name was Diadem.
Spell that.
Diedem.
Okay.
We put out a 5-song EP, was never released. I still have the DAT tape from that.
Do you have a DAT player?
A DAT player?
No.
Yeah.
DAT. Well, you had DAT and ADAT, two different things.
Yeah. Little itty bitty, looked like a micro cassette.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I've still got it. And our guitar player was Josh Lilienthal, which Josh is now living in New York City. Joe Cole was our bass player, and they used to live in Summit County, Park City. And they used to drive down twice a week. And my house was the home of the band.
Yeah.
My guitar player, I actually talked with him earlier this year. We hadn't talked in 20 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was just like, you know, you always had the coolest mom.
Yeah.
You know, and she let us come over and make a home. And that was my first band. We played our first show at a place called Ichabod's in Salt Lake City in front of about 20 people. I made $50 and a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. My first gig, I was 15 and my dad got drink tickets and we got nothing.
His dad got paid in drink tickets.
I was 17 years old and I was getting into bars underage with a fake ID. I know, probably shouldn't say that, but whatever.
Yeah, they're going to come after you now.
Yeah.
Because I was so hell-bent to make money.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to be. This business, this industry was what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And that drive has never left. I was always that guy putting up posters everywhere.
Yeah.
Drummer looking, drummer looking, drummer looking. I shoved it in everybody's face.
Yeah.
You're the guy in Rockstar. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I left that band. And
what year was that? What year was that? Diadem.
1997, 98.
Yeah.
And then I played in some different like cover band type stuff. Moved to California. And then
what part?
Southern California, Huntington Beach area.
I lived in Lancaster for a while.
Yeah.
Worked in Alhambra.
Grinding. And 2000 and it was a long go. 2012, I contacted a company, Artists Worldwide. I was online. I was literally looking up every record label, every booking agent, every talent scout. I was calling literally on the phone. I was not emailing. I was calling, hey, do you have anybody on your roster that needs a drummer? Hey, do you have anybody that needs a fill-in? Hey, I can do this. How can I submit my EPK to you? What can I do? Where can I go? Who do I need to talk to? I literally burned down my list, and I finally got to Artists Worldwide. Talked to a gentleman by the name of Chuck Bernal, which, interesting enough, a friend of mine, Charles Sanborn, who played for Metal Shop in Los Angeles, gave me his card. I still have the card. I called Chuck. I said, hey, anybody on your roster happen to look for a drummer? And he goes, yeah. He said, Michael Aston from Gene Loves Jezebel's always needing people. Okay. So he gave me the email, and I got a phone number, and I emailed Michael, and I said, hey, Chuck said that you need a drummer, and, what do I need to do to get this? So I got on the phone with Michael. We talked for a couple hours. He said, I'm finishing up this tour. There's like 3 dates left in the tour, and then there's stuff that's going into next year. He said, you want to come out and play? And I said, sure. So he gave me a list of songs. It was the Lost 80s Live Tour. And I walked in. I put together all of the songs that he had sent me, knowing I didn't know which songs were going to be picked for this festival. Played. There was some creative differences that happened in between those shows, and I departed. I'm one of those people where I refuse to talk bad about anybody, even if they do me wrong. I refuse. I parted my way and left, and I still am in contact with Chris Sabakowicz every now and again on Facebook. I'll message him, and sometimes he'll message me back. He's busy. Great guitar player, super talented. The bass player we had at the time was also playing with the Bullet Boys. So I left, and then I took a small hiatus. 2014, early 15, I got with Pink Velvet Crush, which had Greg Polcari in it from Britney Fox. And we played for a while, good part of a year. And it was fun. It was a great run. It wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. A great learning experience. We parted ways. Now I think Greg is with Nova Rex in Florida.
Yeah.
Hell of a guitar player. And from what I've heard here in the grapevine, I think he's going to be doing the Britney Fox reunion.
I know, yeah.
Then I
Can't wait for that.
Then I ended up going to a group out of Dallas, Texas called Brand New Machine. And I was going to take Seven's place. Seven is an amazing drummer, very technical, plays a lot like Zoltan.
Yeah.
Sits very low, very animated.
Yeah.
We did some studio work. The studio work didn't pan out. I parted ways because we weren't going in that same direction. We were in the studio. It was rough.
Let's talk about that real quick about the difference between playing live with a band and playing in the studio. We're talking about two different animals there.
A lot of artists want you to play everything just like the record.
Yep.
There's no creative individuality. There's no I think that's the hardest thing about walking in to a record that's already been done.
Yeah.
I don't play just like everybody else. I'll never play just like Glenn Sobel or like Zoltan or like Ray Luzier.
Yeah.
I will have little pieces that I'll pull out of their style to make up what my drumming DNA is. But I think that's the thing that I'm now at a happy point in my career going into. There's a national band out of Austin. I'm going to be auditioning for this upcoming Friday. And I talked with the band and they said, if you can play the record just like the record, that's great. If you can't, play it the way that you play it.
Yeah.
They've now opened that door to where there's this creative realm. There's no restriction.
Yeah. If they really mean it.
That's cool. Is that who you told me about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. If they mean that's an important thing.
Well,
Rick,
you'll find out soon.
Yeah, you'll find out soon. Like when Rick came into the project I did over COVID called Giza is Gone, I had already done all the drums programmed via MIDI. You know, it's probably the greatest asset that was ever given to me was software technology that me as a guitar player could program drums to fit my parts. And I present them to him and I tell him, listen, I just made these as a metronome. There's turn signals that I will need going into part to part, but be you, dude. Totally be you. Do whatever it is you do. But I just, and when we get to those turn signals, if we miss one in rehearsals, we just talk about it. It's like, okay, that's awesome. I like that part, but like, just give me a fill going to that part. And when you're, there's kind of a joke going on when you're playing in bands about, do you, you talk drums like boom, give me a boom, tap, boom, 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 tap, 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 boom, tap, boom, boom, boom,
Okay.
Boom.
When we talk drums, though, what's cool, and I'm noticing this and have been for the last couple hours.
Yeah.
I play acoustic drums.
Yeah.
So I play DW all solid maple shells.
Yep.
The kit that I'm looking at here is an electronic kit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
right?
our rehearsal kit.
Yep.
I love the fact that from drummer to drummer, we're looking at two different things, but can appreciate the same thing.
Yeah.
Digital drums would have never become what they have become had it not have been for one man, Rick Allen from Def Leppard.
Wow.
I'll give you that.
Digital drums would have never become what they've become. Roland has become what Roland has become because of Rick Allen. He revolutionized an industry of drums.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah,
I
is
think.
that because of the accident?
Yeah.
Yes.
He lost his arm. And most of his kit is, he's got, 9 pedals. I get to stand behind his kit and look at it. When you're standing side stage with them, everybody's in ear, and he's got regular cymbals. But you can't hear anything side stage at all. You have to go out front if you want to hear them, period. Yeah, I would say that's a fair statement. They would have kept going whether Rick Allen was around or not. My middle name is Allen, and so I'm Rick Allen Gathman. So I have a picture of Rick and I together. I put it on Facebook as 2 Rick Allens in one picture.
Yeah.
But your cymbals are never going to be right. The toms and the kick drum and the snare on this kit. This is Alesis' version of Roland's, I don't know, their TD30 or TD50, whatever.
Yeah.
They sound absolutely incredible in this room. Even the cymbals do. Yeah. But live, we've done gigs live with these cymbals, but if you put live cymbals with this kit, it's in there. But I'm a crush guy. I've got and Pearl, and I've got a, big kit, giant, too big of a drum set
No,
for
Right.
my
your
old.
drum kit's awesome. I love mixing it.
Yeah.
9
Give,
tracks.
give me, and you guys just go ahead and talk just for a brief moment. I got to grab my phone charger
Yeah.
so that we don't lose.
Go
Yeah.
do what you
Hold
got to
on.
do, buddy.
Yep. So that's an important thing that if you are looking at this kit, it's an electric kit. I've got a Kemper, which is polished tone into the X32, and then we run direct bass using a preamp. So everything is a polished sound that go into these in ears. And I literally had a rehearsal the past. Basically, all of my rehearsals are silent except for a singer singing. The only thing you will hear are pads being hit, uh, an electric guitar being strummed or played,
Right.
and so it's all a contained. It's a contained environment in which, if you polish that sound into your in ears with the electric drums, with my Kemper, with the direct bass, you will hear in surgical detail how you sound.
Yeah. And it's nice to have your little mixer on your phone
Yep.
right next to you.
Yeah.
And if something's not loud enough or too loud, you can just sit here and turn it up or down really quick on the fly while
Yeah.
you're playing.
And the other thing is
which I can do with acoustic drums too, by the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do without the people that endorse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me.
That was going to be my next question. I know you play DW drums. You've got Hunsenberg, I think you said, cymbal.
I used to play Pearl a long, long time ago, and I loved Pearl. But their hardware was really soft. It just didn't hold up to what I needed.
It doesn't lock tight, yeah.
And I sat down there was a drummer, Peter Burke. He's an LA guy, played with, the Metal Shop guys, and he now plays in a Queen Nation band, and he did stuff with Bullet Boys and Tiffany and Wilson Phillips, and God, and you name it, he's done it. He had a DW kit. This was 2001, and I sat down at this kit, and in its raw state, just on the stage, as I'm hitting these shells, they sang. There was something magical about it, and I'm like, I have to have one of these. So 2002, I got my first kit. I've been a DW guy. I play them whether they'll endorse me or not. I play their kit. I love DW. I have all 9,000 hardware. I've got the new MFG pedals. I play Soultone cymbals. I use Simpad chromatics, which are microfiber felts. I use Cymbalt, LP percussion. I've got a Tommy Lee cowbell. It's the most insanely obnoxious, loudest fucking cowbell I've ever used.
Yeah. Is it endorsed by who was the guy that did the SNL skit?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Will Ferrell.
Was it Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
And is it endorsed by Will Ferrell?
When they did that skit,
more cowbell.
Yeah.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Yeah.
We're gonna do.
I've got a Ridge Rider cowbell.
Quarter note, repeat. Yeah.
Let me ask you about what the hell was it you just said that I wanted to ask you?
Soultone?
Yeah, Soultone. What's the Soultone
cymbals, right?
Reason?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I ended up getting with Soultone was
I have several friends that use them too. So no, I'm not saying anything bad at all. I love the way they sound. I'm just curious.
Nick Menza and we were friends. We did a benefit for charity called the Rock and Roll Autograph Show, and that was in Southern California. This was before Nick passed away. Nick played with Megadeth. And he was the big endorser of Soultone. Mm-hmm. And he was a big main reason why I floated over to Soul Tone, because I had been playing Zildjian for a long time, and I broke a cymbal, and I called the artist relations rep, and they just wouldn't do anything for me. And so I'm like, I need a cymbal company that's going to be behind me 100%. And so I was at the NAMM conference, and Laura, which is the artist relations rep, I sat down at the table, I filled out the paperwork, they endorsed me that day.
Yeah.
Right. Did you have to pay
So I
anything?
haven't, huh?
Did you have to pay anything?
It's an artist cost deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, I didn't have to pay anything. I filled out the paperwork, and Iggy, I love Iggy and I love Laura. They take really good care of me. I play the Explosion line. They're a lot like the A Custom cymbal line. They're beautiful. They're brilliant. They've got a kind of a dark, deep tone in them.
Yeah.
I play them exclusively.
Yeah.
So I've got a 13 set of hats. I have a 18, 19, 20, and then I've got a 24-inch Mega Bell ride, which it's got this beautiful sustain to it. You can bash on it. The bell is awesome. I couldn't see myself playing another cymbal line just because of how great they treat me.
Yeah.
And they have held up. I have done I did a tour with a group called Outlaws and Moonshine. I did a tour with them last year. They held up that tour. And then, of course, doing all of my studio stuff this year. I mean, they're an amazing company.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, no,
They definitely sound great.
Yeah.
I'm buddies with Drover's. Sean
Okay.
Sean Drover's son.
Yeah.
I get well, I just say I'm friends with those guys, but yeah. You brought up Megadeth. It's the only I'm sitting here thinking Sean Drover and his son. So but yeah, that's cool that you're with Soul Tone, and I know a lot of guys that are starting to play them, and the cymbals that I've heard do really sound good, and it's something I've thought about. I'm a Sabian guy myself, so that's
well.
You know what? And
raising my
different
hand
strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
Raising my hand.
Well, I like Pisces. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I like Pisces too. I mean, they have so many different colors. Like there's so many different sounds you can get from different brands if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
And I know people that do that. They have some Zildjians, some Sabians, some Pisces, or some whatever. I like to keep it all the same flavor, you know.
Yeah. Raising my hand real quick.
Go ahead.
As a guitar player here. It's very interesting for me to listen to this conversation from the outside, because all of y'all's cymbals gave me tinnitus. So, you know, cymbals and me are, I understand their need, but can they be quieter?
No.
But no, what I'm noticing is almost like, back in the day, we had 3 beers to drink. We had Miller, we had Budweiser, and we had like Michelob or something like that.
Ford.
And then or Coors, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Sam Adams came along, and then all of a sudden, you know, Sweetwater came along, and like all these craft brews came along after the fact and created a whole environment of all these different flavors. To say that Soul Tone sounds to me like Sweetwater, or you know,
It is.
yeah,
That's a
it's
good
craft.
that's a good analogy. Yeah.
It's a craft sound. I mean, it's
They're good quality cymbals for sure. They're not just an off-brand junky.
You have to understand that the original cymbal was Zildjian.
Yeah.
When Zildjian,
Well, Sabian's a Zildjian brother as well.
It is. And Sabian is actually the initial of each one of the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sabian is.
So if you look at durable brands, Sabian is probably that company right now in this day and age that has actually surpassed Zildjian.
Yes.
And I hate to say this.
It's true.
As far as craftsmanship and durability.
It's true.
If you look at Peisty, Nico from Iron Maiden, still a Peisty guy.
Yeah.
My buddy Jamie Wallum from Tears for Fears, Peisty guy. They're a thinner cymbal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of that heavy sustain. They're a hit it and quit it type of a
so
brand.
good though, but they break quick.
They do. They break quick. If you're a heavy hitter,
yeah. If you're a slugger,
Can you imagine Ray Luzier playing Peisty?
No, he couldn't. Yeah.
What's he playing?
He's a Sabian
Sabian
guy, but he even goes through especially that one China that he plays up in the center.
That Holy China.
Yeah, that probably lasts in what, 2 shows, you think?
Yeah, I mean the way that he plays it, I mean he's got it right in the middle and he hammers that thing like
it.
Yeah. Zildjian was and I'm not taking anything away from Zildjian.
No, they're still amazing.
Let's talk about Zildjian real quick. Are they not like the original oldest cymbal on the planet?
Yes.
Kind of thing. What was
Avedis?
I'm going to look it up. When were they created?
Avedis Zildjian.
Yeah, Avedis.
What does that mean?
That was the father. That was the name of it. That was his full name, Avedis Zildjian.
Avedis, right?
Yeah.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, unfortunately, Peisty, Sabian, Zildjian won't endorse you unless you're playing Madison Square Garden.
Right. You have to show them a schedule of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And in 1998, actually, I broke my back in 98. I came out. I broke the first 5 bones, was paralyzed, pulled out of it, went on tour in 2000 with a cover band called Liquid Vinyl, and we did some shows with Velcro Pygmies. We played in Panama City, Florida, at Club La Villa, blah blah blah. But I got a PV drum endorsement back then, and that's when they had their radio bridge system drums. You said that those drum workshop drums were the best drums you ever heard. If you've ever picture a drum that doesn't have a lug on it, and you can turn one lug, and it's like almost like a rototom. You could tune each one of these drums to an actual note, because a drum doesn't note
with one lug.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, a drum doesn't know what note it's trying to recreate or create. So even the floor tom legs, at the bottom of the legs, they went like this. They came down and went in, out, and back in. And what that did was pull the legs away from the drum instead of pushing in. So it made the drum itself easier to tune. So these drums were, to me, the best drums. Plus the shells were 1/8 of an inch thick maple with a radio bridge system put on it. Made it like, I got to go tour the company, of course. And so when you take the radio bridge system off the top and bottom of the shell, it was wobbly like an egg. You put that on and it's solid as a rock. It's loud as hell. Sounded amazing. But they don't make them anymore because they were ugly and they looked funny.
Can I raise my hand? As a guitar player again,
why can't I ever talk about what I want to talk about?
No, but as a guitar player again, and not knowing drums, why did PV get such a bad rap about their product line?
It is a good question.
In the 80s, 90s,
I've always wondered that.
Why did they get such a bad rap? They were U.S. made, making like I would say state of the art ideas.
Yeah.
And what was
Hartley,
the guy's
Hartley Peavy.
Hartley Peavy was doing it.
Yeah.
What happened?
You got me on that one. I do not know. I mean, you could say the same thing with AOT drums. AOT was another company that was out there that was, doing just as good.
Yeah.
We've watched drum companies come. And we've watched drum companies go. And You know what? Every drummer's different. I
Yeah.
mean, like what I play on stage gonna be different from what he plays on stage. No different than a guitar player.
Yeah.
Are you a Stratocaster guy? Are you a Telly guy? Are you a Dan Electro guy? Are you a Gibson guy? Are you an Ibanez guy?
Yeah, there's
I mean,
a ton of companies for
Yeah.
everybody.
are you an Ovation guy? Are
Right.
you, I mean, like,
I would have a set of drum workshops if I could afford them.
Are
I
they
mean,
pricey?
they're probably the most expensive drums on the market,
Are
wouldn't you
they
say, Joe?
the Gibson of drums?
Yeah,
if you looked at a
and they
three
do sound
shell
great.
Yeah.
a 3 shell package probably going to run you about $3,000.
Right.
3 shells?
Kick
What do you-
drum,
Yeah. And I've
kick
got
drum, rack tom, floor tom.
That's it?
You know,
3 drums, 3 grand?
that's a lot of money.
That's out of control.
Yeah. I have my crush kits. I've had 4 actually crush kits. The big ones are 8 through 18, with 3 floor toms, and they were less than that.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
son has a Pearl Masters custom set that he paid $1,100 for. It's a 24-inch kick with a floor tom and a tom, mounted tom. Then he bought a pork pie snare.
Pork pie makes great stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. But the Pearl kit I'm going to use for another project Ray and I are going to do, supposedly someday. And my Crush
a friend of mine
acrylic kit.
plays Crush.
Yeah.
And
Thoughts?
Sammy Joe, she plays with Saliva.
Oh, okay.
yeah, what series do you know? They
It's
have
made out of
Chameleon.
some,
They have different ones.
it's made out of some airplane metal.
Wow.
Airplane what?
It's
Metal.
Yeah, it's a really cool fucking kit.
Yeah.
But Sammy Joe, she's a really dear friend of mine. I love her to pieces. I was so happy when she got the gig with Saliva, and really sad to hear for their loss of their guitar player. And that was that,
That was recent, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, he was a really sweetheart of a guy.
Actually,
I mean,
that
he
was
was-
very recent. Yeah.
Yeah, about a month ago,
Yeah.
roughly. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Sammy Joe, I do believe she plays Crush, and they're a great kit.
I'll have to check.
They're
I'll have to
awesome.
see what she's playing. I don't know.
Well,
The airplane. I had a white kit they were Chameleon. They were white with white hardware,
Ooh.
white rims. Everything on it was white.
You had the white, yeah.
And then I have a clear kit that's it just looks like a kit made out of glass on the rack. It looks amazing with all the cymbals, and we're gonna hit it with
A
lasers.
replica of like the Vista Light series.
That's what they are.
Wig.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Yeah.
And that's cool with lighting and stuff like he's talking about.
They look amazing on stage.
We're going to go back. Zildjian. What year do you think Zildjian started?
14 something. 15 something.
Dude, it started with, let me just start with this. Let me just give you this as a litmus. It started an Armenian metalsmith and a alchemist started the company.
I would probably say roughly, I would say Zildjian is close to between 100 and 150 years old.
You better go further than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
1618.
Yeah.
1618 it started. So that's 400 years to get to 2018.
Yeah.
And then add 5 years to that.
Yeah.
So
There's certain symbols.
405 years old.
There's certain symbols that you can find. Like I found at garage sales before that they have a certain stamp on them.
Yeah.
That actually say Avitus Zildjian.
Yeah, Avitus, yeah.
And they're worth more than newer ones, obviously.
Yeah, if you can get a hold of those old finds, I mean, they're kind of like the old
it's like a barn find.
Yeah. So it sounds like this guy Avitas used an alloy of tin, copper, and silver to create a sound.
Yeah.
So this guy was he was metal smithing these elements
Right.
at certain percentages to create
Right.
or
Yeah. And now
or
there's
He
different
really
different ones with
he was
bronze.
the
There's
he was the DW of the ancient
symbol.
world.
Yeah.
yeah.
Agree.
So you have to think about we're talking about an era people were still buying or being gifted katanas as samurais
Yeah.
in 1618.
Yeah.
These were metal working people that were creating works of art to not kill people, well, but give them tinnitus.
You pussy. I can't hear either.
so I mean, but these were actual like craftsmen back in the day when people were honing steel swords in Japan. This guy's making a he's making hi-hats.
He was just trying to make a dinner bell.
Yeah, right.
It probably started out as like a triangle.
Yeah,
probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Dinner bell. Yeah.
Now they got those symbols that they look like
What's
spirals?
Yeah.
Those spirals.
Yeah.
That
What
sound
are
like,
those? So what's the
they
most?
sound like shit. I don't know what they are. But they
but
sound
they
like
look
crap.
cool, dude.
No, they
So-
don't. They
They
look
sound
stupid.
like trash.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I'd rather get like a actual trash can.
Yes, I agree. Hey, what's your favorite symbol in your kit?
And don't say that 5-inch
Shut
little
up.
dinner plate thing. That's like
Be quiet.
What's that symbol called?
It's called a stack. Shut up.
It's stupid.
Stupid guitar players.
My ride symbol, I would probably
Yeah, I
say
like
is
my
my
ride, too.
favorite, just because I can get so many different tones.
So it's real
out of
heavy,
it.
though, yeah? You got a real big bell on
You
it,
said 24, yeah.
Can you just let me talk to Joe for
You
a
said
second?
24
It's-
inch.
I've played small 20-inch rides, 22s, this 24. It is the largest one that I've played.
Yep.
I love tonality and I love sustain in a ride. And the reason
Sloshy.
being is
Yeah.
because I don't have to bash it
Agree.
as hard.
Yeah, it's washy.
I don't, it's like, I can get on it and I can make that thing ring.
Yep.
But if I want to play with dynamics, the cymbal it radiates. And that's why I picked this explosion line, was because I wanted to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And if I was going to be a heavy hitter and, an Aldridge type of a player and swing for the outfield, I needed a cymbal that I didn't have to hit it hard in order for it to project.
Yeah.
And I can get up on him and I can Tommy Lee the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
And they will still project.
Yeah.
They're a really great studio live cymbal. My microphones,
That's
they're
another
all
question. Yeah, that's another whole story,
Yeah, you
right?
got a May system going on, I think, don't you?
I do have a May system.
With the
I run
D52.
May International Miking. They're by Randall May. Randall May, I'm so thankful to be endorsed by him. My kit is a new series. I have a double monorail system in my kick drums, which the first artist to run this is Marco Minimum.
Oh, wow.
And he was
Wow.
the first one. Him and the drummer from
You're on a list with the elites.
Marco Minimum, and then there's another gentleman that he's done. But if you look up the most recorded drummer in history, he'll come up.
I don't think I'm on there.
He's played with like the Eagles, and he's a studio technician.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. So
He's a,
Can you
as
look
a
that
guitar,
up, Jamie?
yeah, as a guitar player, what'd you say? Something monorail system? What is it? What is that?
May.
it's May miking systems.
Yeah, MAY.
So I have a monorail system. I've got a Beta 52 and I've got a SM91.
There you go. Yeah.
And they both sit on the side. The cool thing about the monorail system is I can undo the nut and I can move that microphone
back and forth.
So I can not only get the linear sound, but I can also get all the way around the shell.
So is your 52 floating? Like the old May mic system?
It's hooked to the monorail system itself.
Oh, okay. So it's not on that old style rubber band type thing where it's just bouncing around in the middle.
You're thinking about the shoe. You're thinking about the Kelly shoe. And they still make the Kelly shoe, but that's by a whole different company.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
I've got a 57. I got a 57 in my snare. I have a 57 in my 10 and my 12-inch rack toms.
Right.
Then I have a Beta 52 pick mic in my 16, 18 floor toms, which those both have monorail systems in it. And then my kick drums.
I'll have to check that out. That's really cool.
And the cool part about it is you take the air port out of the shell and the wires fit right into the air port and it screws on the back side and it's got an XLR that plugs right in. So I 1/4-inch
Okay,
jack
so you
right
don't have to drill an extra hole in there for the XLR. You actually use the airport for that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah. And that doesn't mess with your drum?
Back in the early days, DW had to drill.
Right.
Yeah, the extra port.
That was my old Pearl kit had that, where you could plug the XLR right into the side of the drum, but the air hole was still there.
Yeah, this is a metal piece that comes out, and it's got the XLR, and it fits right alongside of the shell. So I don't ever have to worry about overhead mics on the drums, hitting them falling off.
Yeah.
Right.
The other nice thing about the Mace system is it's completely controlled. It's completely isolated. What's the one thing microphones hate?
Being hit.
Moisture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's completely isolated inside the drum. Those drums never see moisture.
Yeah.
They never see wet. They maybe will get the heat and the cold, but they'll never see moisture because they're all controlled inside that drum. Each one of those drums has its own response.
Yeah.
So they're all crisp. It's just like listening to this kit here in digital.
Yeah.
So what do you do with your cymbals? Do you have overhead mics or do you have the under cymbal mics? Okay,
no,
overhead.
Either. I mean, if you're doing under cymbal mics, those are really, really expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about
condensers kind of thing.
Yeah, all condenser mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about $400 or $500 a mic.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've got 6.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Cymbal, China, ride, hi-hat.
Yeah.
3, 6, 7 cymbals.
Well, live we only ran one under cymbal mic condenser under the hats, one under the ride, and then 2 overhead. So it was just four mics for your cymbals total.
And that's about what I would run to if I'm doing a live situation.
Yeah.
I'm not overblowing anybody. I'm not going to give the guitar player tinnitus.
Exactly. Right. But he gets really upset about that. I don't know what his problem with that is. But.
I like to hear hiss, and I got it. Well, you know how many mics I put on this kit? Oh, wait a minute. I don't put any. I know.
Yeah.
It's a stereo mix, and it's all controllable on the brain there. It's amazing.
Are you calling me the brain?
You are the brain, yeah. Hey, so
my system's completely Shure all the way down to my in-ears.
Yeah.
I run the my in-ear system is the PSM 1000. It's got a dual body pack. I've got the 800 series in the ears. It's got a quad driver in it.
Yeah.
I run all of my click tracks through, believe it or not. It's a little $200
Heck yeah.
Alesis SR18.
Yep. That's all you need.
You can buy them from any Sam Ash, Sweetwater, Guitar Center. But they don't make the SR18 anymore.
I use
now
a Mackie 1202.
Yeah, the 1202 has always been the go-to.
Yeah.
As far as what we do. Hey, one thing, again, I'm just a stupid guitar player. You didn't mention...
Stupid.
Well, I am a producer,
stupid
too, so I actually create all this stuff in the box. But you didn't mention anything about a under snare mic. What is the purpose of that, and do you do it or not do it?
We did that in Fozzy.
Yeah,
one on top, one on bottom.
When I'm recording or I'm doing live, I will have my microphone on the inside, which, by the way, well, he's walked away, so he can't see.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
So the microphone on the inside is like an L. So if you say, okay, so like this, the mic comes out here and then it bends. So the mic points to the snares on the inside of the shell.
Right.
So I'm getting the underside there. If I want to have something up top, I can run, which I've done both live and studio. I'll run a mic on the top and I'll put a microphone right at the middle of the side of my shell.
Wow.
And believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever done it. It was actually earlier this year, and last year's tour, they put a microphone right at the side of the shell of my snare, pointed it directly at the shell. Mm-hmm. So I'd have the overhead mic here, my May, which is inside the drum, getting the snares at the bottom. And for some reason, hitting as I'm coming down, this microphone that's pointed at the shell gave some of this full body richness tone. I don't even know how to explain it.
It had to give it ambiance.
The resonance of the shell.
I don't know. He said what he had was one inside the drum.
Yep.
At an angle, pointing down at his snares inside the drum.
Capturing
it's catching all that high.
Yeah.
Then he had one on top.
Yep.
And then one outside mounted at the side of the shell. I've never heard of having three snares.
That's capturing the resonance of the body of the drum. Like if you're talking about a piccolo snare, if you're talking about a thick snare, they sound different. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is capturing that. This is capturing.
But do you need a mic pointed at your shell to get that? Different?
If I was recording an acoustic kit, I'd want all of that detail on the snare. So
that would make sense, but we're talking about live.
Why?
I've done it live too, and it's unfucking believable. It makes that snare sound like a cannon.
Yeah. Mixing it, I would say that I would use more of that mic.
I want to try it.
Yeah. 100%.
I want to try it.
Yeah. You're capturing, with as a guitar player, they talk about the wood that your body of your guitar is made of makes a difference. It's the same thing you're talking about. If you're miking the body of the drum, the top head, and either the under mic or an inside mic, which is kind of an interesting idea, that's what you're capturing. You're getting all three worlds of a snare, which I think the snare is, aside from the kick drum, the most important part of the kit, except for the hi-hat. The hi-hat is next.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Do you use a butt kicker?
Ooh.
You know what? That's one of those things I wished I had endorsed.
He does too.
I've been saying it for a month now. I want to get one so bad.
I wished I could get an endorsement through those guys. You got to be an elite cat to get.
You're $300, right? $350 for.
Yeah, if not more.
Why is that elite? That should be.
I don't know.
That should be.
It's a monitor.
Well, you're talking about a company that's out of the UK.
Okay.
Well, you could still
Porter
buy
and
it. I mean, you can buy them anywhere.
Yeah.
Porter and Davies is you want something that gives that electronic spike from the kick drum
I just wanna
right to
feel
your ass.
Yeah. I want to feel it.
Yeah,
I also want one of those
It's-
thrones that are split down the middle because of my back hurt and all the. You know what I mean?
a head makes those.
I just
They're
saw it the day before yesterday. Yep.
I've never been on one, but that would definitely be something cool to try.
Yeah.
I use Rock and Sock.
That's
I
what I
love Rock
use.
and Sock. It's got the backrest. It's a tractor type seat. Yep. Yeah.
Just got it last week.
I've been playing. I used to play Zildjian drumsticks. I've been using ProMark. I'm not endorsed by them, but I've been playing the Active Grip 5B drumsticks. But earlier in last couple months, I actually put in an endorsement package with a head, and I'm really hoping that a head will endorse me.
You should go for Vader. Have you tried Vader?
I don't know anybody over there.
I'll see if I can hook you up.
Oh,
they're a good company.
Because the last two things that I need is drumsticks and drum heads.
Yeah.
And I've been playing Evans forever.
It's the same company, I believe. Vader and Evans, I believe, come from the same company, bro.
That would be absolutely amazing.
And D-Drum.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
D'Addario. I think they're all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get something with Vader and
I'll see what
Evans,
I can do for you.
Hey,
oh, brother, that would be so amazing. I would so be honored.
Another dumb question from a guitar player. What are these little plastic ring things that you guys put on top of your drums?
Zero rings.
That make them sound amazing.
They're called zero rings.
Is that the same thing as the gummy things that you put on?
Basically, yeah. Those are moon gels. Some drummers like them, some drummers don't. I love them.
Yeah.
So you've got some differences in tonality quality. If you want that drum to ring, leave it wide open.
Right.
Now, the problem with a maple kit, which he and I both play, maple's extremely heavy and it's loud.
Yeah.
You hit it and it's going to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, maple is great for stadium tours.
Yeah.
It's great for big coliseums because that sound is going to carry.
Yeah.
If you're recording, you're going to use one of three things. If you're using a maple kit, you're going to use an Evans sound ring, which is going to dampen the drum, so it's going to cut out that ring. You're going to use a moon gel, or you're going to use what I play, which are drum tacks. And drum tacks are these cool, they have a sound mat foam, and they're sticky on the bottom. And you stick them, they're like literally the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
And you just stick them to the top of your shell, and it actually suppresses that heavy ring that comes out of the drum. Now, I was running the they were the G14 coated, and then they went to a G2 coated, and that's what I was using on the top of my kit. Now I run the Evans UV2. These UV2 heads are probably the best sounding head I've ever used. You don't need a lot of those rings or the moon gels because they're coated, and they use UV rays to bake the coating into the head. When I hit these drums, they're extremely responsive. If you want to put a tone ring or, a drum tack, you can. These UV2s, there's something magical about these heads.
Hmm.
They're Diodario Evans brand, probably my favorite heads so far. And I just have the UV2 G1 clear. I have the heavyweight snare head because I'm a heavy hitter. I'm a tree killer. But it just depends on, one, what type of kit you have, two, how you tune it, and three, how you play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 3 being the most important, like how you hit it.
Well, yeah.
Probably.
I think tuning goes along with it too, because if you tune a drum down low, it's going to flop a lot and
Mhm.
dent quicker. And if you play it too tight, then they just don't have that sound that I prefer. I mean, I'm like, you like the way my drums sound. And I'll send you the show that we did that was professionally recorded, and it's done with Evans heads, and it's on my Pearl kit. And even the guy there was like, I don't know what he say to you. He's like, special sauce or something.
Well, I mixed it. So I had 5 toms, a snare, top snare, bottom, a kick, and then several cymbals. And I mean, I always put some special sauce on everything, but I mean, it sounded good out of the box, and I think that's to the point of his tuning.
Yeah, if you know how to tune a drum,
Yeah.
you're helping out the guy who's working on the recording right off the bat.
Right out the
If you're
gate.
giving him just shit drums
Yeah.
that sound like poo anyway, then he's going to be working harder, I guess. But
yeah, and each drum is going to sound different.
Yeah.
A D drum
they
is
won't
going to sound
match.
different from, absolutely. And in any situation,
People don't realize that.
I walk in with all new heads. I use brand new heads. I use brand new sticks. I spend the money if I'm going to walk in and do a recording. I don't want to have anything possibly go wrong. First off, I'm not going to waste the engineer's time
Right.
to record my tracks.
Right.
I want to get in and get out.
Yeah. Time is money for sure.
Well, do you do things like, because I'm on the engineer side. When I'm doing my drums that I'm programming, I will actually tune my kick to the. So if my song is in drop C or drop C sharp, or if it's in D, I will kind of tune my kick drum to be in the realm of that key, and I will tune my snare to be.
That's why you're a guitar player.
In a relevant, no, it's why I'm a producer. That's you have to producing.
You would be one of the very few that does.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go out here. I want you, you already have, but the Fozzy record.
Yeah.
The Fozzy record. I'm gonna go out here. Judas, his drums are so deep and so wet.
Yeah.
They have such a great response. His kick drum is snappy, but it's got that meaty, it's got guts. That is a great, the record is just great.
Yeah.
And I didn't think, to be honest, I've known Chris Jericho and watched him. I don't know him personally, but I've watched him throughout the last 2 decades wrestle.
Sure.
Yeah.
When he came out and it's like, Chris Jericho's got a new band called Fozzy. I went, really?
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And then when I heard the guts behind it, I was like, fuck, these guys are good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Well,
and I'm surprised they're not playing bigger venues than what they're playing.
It's true. You're right. And the first tours that I did with them was in 2016, and that's when Judas came out. And since then, they got a gold record out of that song. And the drums, Rich Ward mixed my other band's songs, and he mixed different snare drum sounds together. He did a he
Black
added,
Beauty. Yeah.
let's see. So for the song Do It Again, Billy Gray did the guitar solo on it. Rich Ward put a Black Beauty.
Oh,
He used
hell.
he used the snare from Here Come the Infidels, the Stuck Mojo record that he did. The snare that he used for that, well, one of the snares that he used in that record. He put like 3 or 4 snares and stacked them on top of each other for our song, for the Say Never stuff. And it's
Yeah.
just like fat and meaty and cracks. It's just got it's got all the salt and pepper in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's just awesome.
Raising my hand
Go ahead.
as a producer guy, what he's talking about is triggering. And what he's talking about is taking the actual snare hit on whatever snare was actually there
Yeah.
and lining that up or MIDI hitting,
That's right.
a sample of a tone.
Right.
And that's kind of what I was talking about, earlier about, when I'm working with electric drums or MIDI, I've got such a library of Black Beauties and drums I can't even pronounce. I don't even know what they are, but I can go through and listen tonality wise what works with this song. It requires sometimes stacks of 3.
Yeah.
The original hit, the sample, especially I would say with kick drums personally, that sometimes a straight up DW kick doesn't sound as good as the DW kick with a plastic beater, Pearl 24 Cannon, or an 808 even. Boom. When you're starting to get in the studio these days, everybody has the ability. Well, not everybody, but anybody that's in the music game has the ability to record in Pro Tools, put samples and do hits on kicks and snares and change cymbals. It's unbelievable the ability that we have to change a drum kit to the song and tune that kit to the vibe of that song. You could go down rabbit holes for
sure. You know who never...
I love what digital drums are,
Yeah.
but I'll always be an acoustic guy.
Me too.
And snare drums, he really, in my opinion, I think the best sounding snare drums, in my opinion, Black Beauty.
Yep.
Absolutely great.
What
the
year?
Vinnie Paul.
I don't think it really matters.
No, it's different.
No, it doesn't really matter. Just that Black Beauty it's such a great snare. The Vinnie Paul snare.
Yeah.
I've never played that one. So I don't know.
I
was on stage with him, and I
it's 14 by 8 inches deep.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like a marching
it is
snare.
It is, and it's a fucking cannon. It's gorgeous. It's got all the meat, the blood, the guts, the everything in it. I think it's probably one of the tastiest sounding. When you listen to a song like Walk by Pantera,
yeah,
that's that snare.
That's it. Huh? Did he use it in Hell Yeah?
Yeah.
I would imagine so, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's another big heavy hitter, God rest his soul, revolutionized a lot of metal drums and sounds. I play the DW True Tone snare. It's 14 inches by 6.5. And it's, my opinion, probably has one of the best tones in a snare. I've recorded with it 3 times now. This recording that we'll listen to it's that True Tone snare, and there's just something magical about it. It has a thing. It just has a thing.
Yeah. So again, I'm a dumb guitar player. What is the typical depth of a proper snare? I understand
14 by 6.
6. Yeah.
14 by 6. Is that kind of a standard?
5.5, 6. Yeah.
Okay. So anything deeper than that is out of the ordinary, or anything smaller is a
It
piccolo.
depends on what genre we're talking about. I mean, a lot of the heavy hitters, like Joseph's talking about, is like Vinny played that deep drum. Tommy played the
How deep?
deep. Tommy,
Eight
Tommy,
8 inches.
yeah, Tommy used to play literally a marching snare.
Aldridge?
Yeah.
No, Tommy Lee.
Oh,
But
Girls,
yeah,
girls,
Tommy
girls
Aldridge as
record.
well.
That's
He
what
played
he
a.
played.
What's that?
14 by 12.
12?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Who played that?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy
probably.
Lee.
Yes, it's like
Girls
almost
record.
a square size drum.
Wow.
Yep.
Square size meaning
Okay.
12 by 12 or 10 by 10. 11, you know what I mean?
Raising my hand.
Go ahead.
Just a dumb guitar player. Why is Alex Van Halen's snare drum, particularly, his drum sound is so trademarked?
I'll let you have that one, Joe.
Engineer.
There's more
You
to
have
it.
to understand it's, in my opinion, 50% drummer, 50% engineer.
Ted Templeton?
Huh?
Nah.
Who was the engineer on that? Was
It probably, well, yeah,
Ted
Ted
Templeton,
Templeton was
right?
on most of it, yeah.
You know, when you've got guys that are recording legends, I mean, let's look at Mutt Lange. Look at what he did with Metallica. The sound that came out for Master of Puppets and Justice for All, the Black Album. You know, when you're talking about legendary sounds, these guys created, I mean, you got 50% the drummer.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. But when you listen to iconic records like Van Halen 1, nobody in this industry, I think, can ever come close to the sound of a Van Halen record. You have to give credit where credit's due to the engineer, because that is absolute musical genius.
Yeah.
But the snare drum.
And they also had Van Halen. Van Halen to me will always be Alex, Eddie, Dave, and Michael.
Yeah.
I'm an old school era guy.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's fine because Alex was throughout the whole thing, but there was a tightness.
Yeah.
There was a tightness. There was a sound to that snare drum that even me as a guitar player was like,
that's what he did. He used, his drum is deep. He tightened the hell out of it. I believe he may have even used a Kevlar head. Not all the time, but sometimes. I watched some kind of a documentary on this. It was something to do with the snares themselves. They may have been not metal. I think they were cow,
like a titanium alloy or
something,
some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily have the snares tight.
Super tight, right? Super
the snares themselves.
Yeah, like not super tight, could be
right.
looser.
It was almost a tom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the top was really tight.
Yeah.
So it gave you almost like a really high tom sound.
Yeah. It had a
like
tone.
a timbali.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It had a tone that even me as a guitar player was like, what's going on there? That's a different thing happening there. And again, I am clueless on drums. On the bottom of a snare drum, there's snares.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of row of, I can only say they are squiggly line pieces of metal.
They're steel wires.
Yeah. How many? Is there a certain?
There's different ones you can get.
Is the width different?
Yes.
So you can get different width, different amounts of that metal.
Yes.
What if you cut like every other one out?
Well, they break sometimes, like one here and there, and if you break it off, you don't really hear a difference.
Right, but if you took 50% of them away, would you make a different sound?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd have to.
But it's not. It wouldn't be like gig ending. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, but I mean,
But yes, if half of them got cut off, then yeah,
or purposely cut that way. It sounds like people experiment like that.
Yep.
It depends on. There again, Blues has a different sound. Jazz has a different sound.
Yep.
Rock, metal, screamo. It's so really it's all preference.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you, as from a drummer to a guitar player.
Yep.
Strings. What size strings do you use?
Well, that is an interesting question. I've always been, a 10 gauge on my normal tune stuff. Heavy tops, skinny bottoms on like kind of normal stuff. It is a different thing now. After all these years, I just go 9 gauge on anything that I'm doing that is normal to half step tune down. If I go down to drop tuning, I just go to tens, and I think there's a famous quote. There's a famous quote from Billy Gibbons that says, "Why are you working so hard?
Mm-hmm.
I'm using 7 gauge," and he sounds
and
brilliant.
You know where that quote came from?
What's that?
B.B. King.
Right. Same thing. Yeah.
Because Billy, from what I understand from interviews and such, Billy thought that you had to use these heavy gauge strings on a guitar. And
so did
he
Stevie
got
Ray Vaughan.
BB about it, and that's where that quote came from. Why are you working so hard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially in the day of today with profilers and all the brilliant. I mean, again, I bring up the there were 3 beers growing up, and then you started getting all these boutique beers. The boutique guitar pedal business has never been stronger. And in fact, if you were an investment guy and it was like 1993, you would have taken all your chips off of Boss and Digitech and put them all on all of these different small boutique brands, and you'd have been fine. You know what I mean? And it's been great for music and guitar and pedals and everything. But it just kind of comes down to rabbit hole.
As far as a drummer goes, probably the best sounding amplifier I've ever heard. 1960 Marshall slant cab with a Eddie Van Halen 5150 head on it.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah. Or a Soldano. I like those.
Soldano's always been good. Yeah. That's boutique. Yeah.
But
boutique
every guitar player has to come equipped with a wah-wah pedal. I don't know what it is. They have to have one, That
is true and untrue, because I purposely have stopped playing wah-wah pedals in about I stopped playing a wah-wah in about 99 when everybody was going wacky with wow. If you're not playing Voodoo Child,
when Steve Vai came out with his Bad Horsey, you were done.
Yeah, I was done. You know who did it to me, and I almost don't want to say it, but early Zach Wilde.
Oh yeah,
early Zach Wilde, and then obviously Kirk Hammett.
Well, wait till you hear what I'm about to say.
Yeah, early Kirk Hammett just I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna play straight notes and we'll be fine.
Zach Wilde is a one-trick pony, in my opinion, and I don't care who heard it.
Whoa.
Prove me wrong.
And let me ask you, why, as a guitar player, what makes you think that? What
because
makes you feel that?
Because he plays the same squeal. It's not a squeal.
Okay, so
it's a ping.
the thumb harmonic.
It's the same. He does it in every riff.
Right.
That he does.
The thumb harmonic is what does it for you.
like it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's attitude.
He rocks. I love him, but it's the same.
He's amazing.
It's the same shit every song.
But what I think you're really saying, from a guitar player perspective, it's the gimmick of the thumb harmonic.
Gimmick.
It's the gimmick of the thumb harmonic. Okay.
But the thumb harmonic would have never become without Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
It
right?
could be. I'm just saying that that's all he does. It's his one gimmick that he does.
And he
you said
shreds
it with one word right there.
He shreds one scale is what you're actually feeling. He shreds pentatonic and never ventures out to some other color notes.
That could be. You're talking your talk. I don't
Right.
know.
So
All I hear is that.
Yeah. He
And
did.
you were talking about Steve Vai. I have to say, Passion and Warfare, probably his best record.
Obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That is
Actually, dude, have you heard Gravity Storm?
Mm-mm.
Listen to the song Gravity Storm by Steve Vai.
off that record.
Okay.
I don't know what record it's on, but I happened to see a video of it and I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, this is badass.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there, and all of these people. I mean, okay, this guy.
I can't play. I'm going to play just the
you're not,
beginning of it.
We're going to get.
I know
copyrighted.
we'll get pinged on it, but
we're going to get pinged on it.
just listen to just the.
I think we could go all night on this.
I know. I think Ray's trying to.
Yeah. Are y'all like done here?
Hey, who cares? It's my hard
drive. You got to go.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no, I got plenty of hard drive space.
I got to go in a second, but
you're not going anywhere.
Shut.
You know what I love about the three of us as we sit here.
We should all be living in the same town.
We should be in the same town.
There's so many influences that are similar yet distant.
Yeah.
But the core belief in music is all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
dude.
I think that's what I love about the three of us as we sit here is we appreciate those that came before us,
right.
and we're willing to acknowledge the things that are wonderful about this industry and the things that we wished we could see change in it.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, and it's why we're here, and it's also
why we're here. Yeah,
why we are. I never got to my whole point of being distraught about cover bands versus original product, but we are still here because we have the passion to play music and we have the passion to create.
The thing that pisses me off is the fact that cover bands and tribute bands are making more fucking money than original bands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're going to go down that road.
Yeah.
Well, this is a whole nother. we should do a part 2. I'm thinking.
I think we should finish part 1 before we bail out.
But that's my own personal opinion, and I hope that nobody gets offended by that.
No, of course not. It's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know about the cover bands. The cover bands come home smelling like chicken with $150 in their pocket.
Yeah.
Tribute bands come home.
Fair.
The tribute bands come home with a pretty good pocket full of money.
$600.
No, I mean you there's places here that you could play, and if you can get 2 shows a night playing a Def Leppard tribute or a Journey or whoever, you're going to come home with $1,400-$1,500 here in town, close to home. So yes, you're right about that. The problem that we have with it is that there's so many good bands in this town, just in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously where you're at, there's nothing but talent. But there's a lot.
I mean, look at a big band that came out of Atlanta. Jackal came out of Georgia.
Well,
didn't they?
I mean, there's a bunch. Yeah, Jackal, Collective Souls, Stuck Mojo. I mean, there's tons of them.
Right.
Seven Dust.
Yeah, and those bands those type of bands will never come out of Atlanta again because there's nowhere for them to play. There's nowhere to develop a following. Right. Because you got to make room for men without hats.
That's the thing. And that's, good point. So what we're trying to do, we've actually talked about this, is trying to find a venue that'll work with us and let us do at least a monthly thing where we bring 3 or 4 bands together and put a show on where it's just original music and we're showcasing all of the incredible talent that's in this town.
Yeah.
There's some amazing bands around here. There really are.
Yeah.
But there's no place to play. And if there are, they want you to
Tuesday night at 2.
Yeah,
and in the
they'll
afternoon.
give you a shit night,
Yeah.
or they'll make you sell your own tickets. And if you don't bring a lot of people with you, you don't make any money, and nobody sees you anyway. So it's like, so you got these bar owners and venues that don't want to put any money of their own into their own advertising. So it's like, how can we work together to make this work? Let's not.
Reminds me of West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What era?
Any era, it's still the same.
Yeah.
If you go play the Whiskey A Go Go on a Sunday, you're paying $500 to play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, and they have a lot of the nostalgic venues are all gone. You know, I mean, there's really only but 3 that are in West Hollywood. The Viper Room, the Whiskey, the Viper Room, the Whiskey, the Roxy, and the Rainbow. And I mean, that's really all of what's left of that nostalgic feel of West Hollywood. I mean, the Troubadour is still there, but there's really not. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's like they're picking off, you know, and once you've taken away everything that you can in the industry that made the industry magical, and
it's the same way.
It's sad that other states have now gone that way, where it's like, oh, hey, you're gonna pay to play, or you won't get anybody here.
It's every state. It's Kentucky. It's Cincinnati. It's St. Louis. I mean, I've played all those places where, you know, Soulard, St. Louis downtown was like, used to be the place to be. There was places called Kennedy's. There was Annie's in Cincinnati, Bogart's. They're still there. There's Mississippi Nights in St. Louis used to be a big place to go. You know, they would let original bands come in and show their stuff. And now you can't get in anywhere unless you're opening for instance, a band such as Autograph. My band opened up for them a few months back before Randy Rand passed away.
Loved Randy.
Yeah, you know, what a good guy. What a great guy he was. You know, but in Annie's in Cincinnati, we got to open for Missing Persons, and you know that it's just not around anymore. You know, you have to pay to play, like you said. Who wants to pay $500 just to go say they played somewhere?
I'd rather play in the studio and broadcast to the internet.
100%.
You know, and that's kind of where we're headed at this point. You know, it's like,
but we're trying to figure out something to where we can all get our yayas on a stage in front of a crowd that is appreciating what we're doing. So that's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
And to help you, you know, get like, hopefully try to get you a stick endorsement or hook you up with a band that's looking for a badass drummer.
Yeah.
You know, I think what's cool about what y'all are doing is the genuine heart that you have for not just the industry, but the artists, individual and collective. And these are old school traits.
Yeah.
The industry don't have these traits now.
Mm-mm.
There's something to be said about that old school nostalgic era, people, generation. People don't do what we are doing right now. They're so involved in Snapchat, TikTok,
self-involved.
Yeah.
You know, they go out to dinner. They're involved in their phone. They're not involved in each other. They go on vacation. They're worried about, you know, who's on TikTok and who. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed this right here, and this is what's missing in the industry. It's and I see it all the time, every day.
Yep.
As an artist, I put posts out positive, hoping that somebody like a Zach Wild will see my post and go, "Oh man, that Joseph seems like a pretty cool cat. I'll like that,"
Mm-hmm.
Or, you put something out there hoping that somebody that you idolize, like a Tommy Aldridge, will go, "Oh man, hey, that's cool. I like that." And
Mm-hmm.
we don't see that camaraderie anymore.
Right.
It's far few in between. And it only comes within like certain sections. I hate to say it, but it's like in crowd, and they just like whoever it is that they want to like. They don't like everything else collectively.
Yeah.
I wish I could add to that with what I have to say about it, but I can't.
Well, it feels like high school.
I off
Clicks.
the air.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my thought on that.
And that's, I'm very.
But you're exactly right.
I'm 44. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like me, don't like me.
Yeah.
Be my friend, don't be my friend. Want me in your band, don't want me in your band. Like I've had skeletons in my closet. I've made my own fuck ups in life. I've struggled with my own demons and done those things. But where I'm at now is I'm just tired of where this social platform is and how fake it is.
Yeah.
And we've all been sucked into it.
Yep.
And I have really enjoyed this.
Yeah. I have too.
We have. Yeah. Definitely.
I think that
I think we should do a part 2 on this one.
I do too. I to be honest, Joseph, I wasn't sure doing an individual artist of a band was going to be fruitful, loaded with fruit. And I just got a basket full of oranges and grapes and all this lovely stuff to talk about. I'd like to play this one thing on the way out.
Oh, most definitely.
I'd like to play a song called Misery from Oblivia. Do you want to give us a little background on this track?
Yeah, I worked with these guys in 2015 or so. And they are out of, I do believe, Indianapolis. Nice cats. We recorded this single. And on this, as we were doing this, we ended up doing an opening slot at the Ohio. Oh, no. Was it Ohio? Yeah, they're in Ohio. I'm sorry. My bad. We did the Ohio Bike Fest, and we opened for Mushroomhead.
Nice.
Those guys were really super nice. Talk about a great percussion section.
Yeah.
That drummer for Mushroomhead's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
But I was really thankful that I got to work with these guys and thankful that I got to cut this single with them. And I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. It's been such an honor.
Absolutely.
And I hope the fans will enjoy what's here, and I hope that we get to do a part 2. And
we're definitely doing a part 2.
We're going to definitely be in touch with you for sure, and stay in touch. And it like he was saying, if you ever get to Atlanta, we definitely are going to do some barbecuing and playing some music.
What I would absolutely be willing to make a road trip and come down, and we could do like a jam session at a bar.
Yeah.
We could hang out, have a good time. I'm all about it. You let me know when.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
All right. Well, we're going to play a song called Misery from Oblivia. Check this out, and then we'll be right back.
What you want, what you give, I want to see how you live. Why you fight, what you hide, I see the truth through your eyes.
There she goes again, to my knees.
that's a rock song right there.
That's
for
tasty.
Sure. That is definitely a rock song. So when I'm listening to that, that vocalist has there's a video game that I play that's either ATV's. I think it's my ATV PlayStation 3 video game that has that is it 90s or mid 2000s rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, it's
good.
almost not Chester, but
Yeah.
maybe a little past there.
Yeah. Is it Lincoln Park kind of a
Lincoln
thing?
Parkers,
Yeah.
thank you.
But it's very polished and very
Oh yeah, it's killer. I love that offbeat snare that you're doing while it's just broken down kick, and then all of a sudden you did that double bass thing that was like out of nowhere and really tasty. Cool. Yeah.
That's
well done.
And there again, that's one of those things, looking up to guys like Ray Luzier that are very polished.
Yeah.
As far as fills and making sure those accents are like right on. Tommy Lee, another rock drummer who I absolutely love as a drummer. And I'm friends with Steve, his drum tech, and he and I have talked a little bit about miking and stuff and what they do for the last Motley tour. Super sweet guy. Steve is like a technician's technician and super nice guy. But yeah, I love guys that are just big, meaty
rock guys.
Yeah.
Well, the outro of that song, me just as a stupid little guitar player over here, when you go into the double time on the outro,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That is it. I don't know what you guys are talking about when you're talking about the fundamentals or the rudiments or whatever it is you guys do, but that to me is just like attitude. I mean, it's just all angst. It's everything that I've ever struggled with coming out in a 1 or 8 bar.
That's stuff that I still would listen to. I mean, it's stuff I put in today. I'm 54, and that's the stuff I listen to. I mean, that's my style of music right there.
Yeah. If I want to be analytical,
one of them.
If I want to be analytical and algebraic, I'm going to listen to Animals as Leaders. Gojira.
Yeah.
That guy was amazing.
Told you.
I like the new metal stuff, Polyphias, Gojiras, and we didn't stick around for Mastodon, but what I took away from the old man, this guy, going to a modern metal show was the drummers are on another level. They are playing.
Yeah.
They are actually the show.
Yeah,
everything
they're athletes.
Everything else is
they're athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
that, and then you have the production that's
the flames, the
it's
lights,
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm all about smoke and mirrors.
Every time they shoot those like Jericho uses the gun.
Yeah.
And we'd have to stop at Air Gas and get a 50-pound or whatever it is can, Then we got the tall boys.
Yeah. What are they actually using on those?
It's CO2. So, and it's really expensive. And so every time you see, like when we were on tour with Skillet or whoever, they use a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than the pyro.
It is.
So you're bringing CO2 for what? For the fog looking. Yeah. The blast.
Every time you're seeing 10 of those across the
white
stage,
geyser.
Just going like hardcore geyser.
Yeah.
It's probably costing them $300 a shot.
Wow.
If not more. I don't know. I mean, all I know is it's
a lot.
Stupid expensive.
Yeah.
CO2 and propane. Those are the two most expensive. Propane's the same way. I mean, think about what a propane tank costs you.
Right.
Yeah.
What, $30-$40 for just a small.
Yeah. Well,
you're talking about
$20 if you're going to refill it.
Now you're talking about propane. Like, let's look at the Motley tour. Or wait, let me go back. Rammstein.
Oh,
There you
my,
go.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Nothing but
Okay,
production.
before we go any further with that, I am I'm a newbie Rammstein guy. Uh, I think I'd heard of them. Wasn't my style of music.
I'm a new Ghost guy.
And I watched some videos on YouTube of Rammstein. And if you want to see theatrics
Yeah.
in a metal atmosphere, I don't think there's anybody better.
Yeah. Check out Ghost.
Yeah, I have no
When a few years back, I went and saw Soundgarden and Nine Inch Nails. This is right before Cornell passed away. I sat for 2.5 hours and I watched Trent Reznor, and he has a phenomenal drummer as well.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He's got this curly hair, looks like Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Slayed it. And I thought, there's going to be nobody that's ever going to top Nine Inch Nails. And then I saw Rammstein last year. Holy shit.
Yeah. In the States or where?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I went and saw him at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. It was the only spot that they were playing in the States.
Sure.
Hands down.
It's another level. Yeah.
This was a complete, it wasn't just a sound experience.
Yeah.
It was visually a visceral experience.
Yeah.
The lights and the theatrics, and he comes out with these flame cannons, and he's got this baby basket, and he comes out as a baker, and he takes out this knife, and he actually like stabs himself, and it's shooting blood. I mean,
so it's a prop fest.
Well,
everything.
It's Kiss plus. It's Kiss
But
plus.
mind you, the singer has a degree in pyrotechnics.
Do you like the music?
Their drummer is amazing.
Okay, because I haven't given them a chance, and what I did here, I didn't care for. And that was a long time ago too. So to be fair,
them, you know what?
To be fair, I will give them another chance.
Give them a second listen. If it's something that you enjoy, cool. If it's something
I dig
you don't,
Ghost. I never gave Ghost a chance because I thought the way they looked was a little dark for my taste. But I listened to it and actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I think you have to look at these bands as I think Rammstein has. I'm going to look it up after I tell you the most recorded drummers of all time. But I think Rammstein's been around for 2 decades.
Oh, a long time,
or more, right? So they have honed their craft, and you know, we've all mentioned Kiss as our influences every single podcast. This is number 26 or 27. Yeah.
Real quick, Joe, my first concert was 1979 Kiss Dynasty Tour, Cincinnati, Ohio.
What's yours?
Mine?
Yeah.
First concert.
1985 Kiss.
Right. Yeah, he said that. Animalized, right?
Yeah.
It was Asylum.
Asylum,
yeah. I'm not going to say mine because mine's not very cool.
Come on, there's fun. We're all friends. Come on.
I think it's hard for. I get cloudy.
He can't remember.
I think it might be Spyro Gyra.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Those
are some players, man.
In the mountains of Las Vegas, in Mount Charleston.
Those are some players, man.
It was kind of one of those things where I just was blown away by musicianship.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, they had it for sure.
But then I saw my second one, I believe, was 90125 Yes. And then third one was Jimmy Page Outrider.
I think 90215 is a TV show.
Okay, 90120.
No, you're thinking 90210.
Yeah,
90120.
I just wanted to make sure.
It's different zip code, same thing. But that Yes concert was Trevor Rabin. That's when I was like, okay,
that's a big one.
I'm a guitar player. I think I'm starting this thing, and seeing that was amazing. Jimmy Page Outrider tour was right after it. Paul Rogers, I believe, might have been.
Paul Rogers.
That's pretty strong.
I mean, those
A lot.
again. I've said it. I think 3, 4 times now. Seeing these legacy people, if you are in the art, if you're in the witchcraft of this music making thing, and you don't take the time to go see a legend, you are not going to college. I look at every concert I go to like that as going to a 402 level class in a college situation. And that's everything from pyro that you're talking about with the CO2 to actually what they're playing. It's kind of important. And you just have to go and study and watch and
Yeah.
don't mimic. I don't think mimicking
Nah,
is
You
the way
just-
to do it.
It's like it's like Red Lazier says. You don't copycat. Everybody's got the tools that they have. Joe,
Yeah.
you said it earlier. Everybody uses the tools that they have.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a cover thing, you interpret things the way you interpret things. And if you're doing something original, then you do it with the tools you have. And it's
Yeah.
what makes everybody different and original.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
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 I tried to
I
do
mean,
that.
that's and a lot of people, they don't give Eric Singer credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And I have to say Eric Singer is a great drummer. I think probably my favorite Kiss record was Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Revenge was probably my favorite. It was stripped down, it was solid, it was rock, it was in your face.
Yep.
For Eric Singer to go from, Alice Cooper,
yeah.
to then doing a group called Badlands, which
Oh, yeah. That was a
Badlands.
great record, too.
Who was in that band?
that was
Jakey Lee?
a great band.
Jakey Lee.
Jakey Lee. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great band.
Yeah.
Then to go from Badlands to then doing now 2 decades, 3 decades with
Yep.
Kiss.
Yep.
And really he's made a career just being the on-call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was never really a permanent member.
He still isn't.
So who is the current drummer of Kiss?
Eric Singer.
Eric Singer is that guy?
Yeah.
No shit.
And
He's
what?
still not an official member.
Right. And he had his own makeup when he first.
No.
Didn't Eric?
He was
No.
going to be a bird. He was going to be like an eagle or bird or something.
Yeah.
But Eric
And they said no.
Carr,
Eric Carr.
before him, who
With the
died of
fox.
cancer, he was a fox, right?
Okay. All right. That's what
He
I'm
was a
And
great.
then
That's who we
and
were
then
talking
you
about
had-
earlier.
And then you had, what was it? Not Mark St. John, but
St. James.
St. James, the Ankh.
No, that was Vinnie Vincent.
Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Vinnie Vincent.
So
No.
who are the most
Uh,
recorded drummers? I'm going to take a guess and say Buddy Rich.
No.
Okay, I'm going to say Jason Bonham.
Nope.
John Bonham.
Not even on the list.
Wow.
Hold
on.
Oh, you keep going.
Joe, you got any guesses?
Most recorded with the question that came up
John
earlier.
Robinson.
Who?
John Robinson Jr.
He is number 1. He's number 8.
That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, that's a good name. though.
That's the guy that's with May International.
Okay. Now, we talked
But
about
who's number 1?
you talked about side stick guys versus who was the guy you were saying that went side stick and went normal? So side stick.
Zuckerman.
Todd Zuckerman.
That's Stick's drummer.
Nope.
Neil Peart plays the same way. He goes back and forth.
Yep. Not even on the list. Are you ready?
So who do we got in
Yeah.
the list?
Let's hear.
All right. By a long shot, Jim Keltner, 975 plus
Wow.
recorded.
Who is that?
Keltner, wow.
Jim Keltner.
Do you know who that is, Joseph?
Yeah, Jim Keltner. Jim Keltner's badass.
Why don't I know him?
Jim Keltner's done stuff with
I don't have another. I'll do another window here.
Give us number 2.
No, we're going to stay on Keltner. Jim Keltner. He was Jim Keltner. He's not too old of a guy, looking like. Born in 42. Known for his session work with Bob Dylan.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that one was tough to think of.
From 65 on. He's still alive, 81 years old.
Hey, Joseph, my wife didn't know who Bob Dylan was until her and I met.
Really?
Yeah, we've been married for 16 years, 17 years.
Did some stuff with the Beatles, with the Plastic Ono Band, Yoko Ono, Ringo Starr, George Harrison. So this guy goes back.
So he probably did a lot of stuff in place of Ringo.
Okay, so here's where it happened. This is where Keltner made his his legacy. He was Ry Cooder's drummer, and Ry Cooder, Ry Cooder looks like from 1972 to 2011 used him exclusively.
Why am I the only one in the room that doesn't know who Ry Cooder is?
Ry Cooder might be a part of a little film called Crossroads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ry Cooder was the guy that went against Steve Vai in the Devil deal.
Gotcha.
All right. So number 2, you guys might be a little more familiar with.
That wasn't Karate Kid?
No, Karate Kid was on guitar, and he played all those parts. Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
No, you know how to do wax on, wax off.
The second one mostly. Steve Gadd.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Can't
Number
go wrong
2.
with him.
Yeah, Steve Gadd, 663 plus recordings.
Yeah, he's a badass for sure.
Al Jackson Jr., 659 records. Max Roach.
I know Max Roach.
580. And a little guy you might know named Jeff Porcaro.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
He's got one of the most famous grooves on the planet.
Porcaro is a beast.
Yeah.
So name that groove.
Rosanna.
Yeah.
Rosanna.
Yeah, Rosanna.
Yeah, Rosanna.
So that's a shuffle in 6?
Yeah.
It's Ghost Beats, yeah.
Ghost Beats in 6?
And a shuffle.
Ghost Beats shuffle in 6? How are you on time signatures, Joe? Are you
oh, that's 4/4, I think.
Is it 4 shuffle?
No, it's a 6/8 groove.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
6/8.
So Porcaro,
Exactly.
Porcaro, I think you might be right with the most modern recognized beat.
He had another one too, other than Rosanna. What was it?
Well, Rosanna was done by Toto, so
Right.
Right.
Which he played drums for.
yeah. And then there was Hold the Line.
Hold the line. That was a good one too.
Down, bow.
Which that's another shuffle if you listen to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a definite shuffle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, that brings me to personally, as a dumb little guitar player, I love 6/8. I love straight 6.
6/8's probably my favorite.
6/8.
Yeah.
I like shuffle. I like that feeling of a shuffle or a swing.
Yeah. If you like ballads of any kind, you like 6/8.
Yeah.
And I like ballads. So
it's just the way to go. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's number 6?
Steve Smith?
Nope.
I can't see it. What?
Yeah, I'm blocking him from
can't see it.
seeing. I don't want him to see.
I have a computer and I'm not cheating, by the way. I do not know what you're. So who's number 6?
This guy played with Jeff Beck on quite a bit of
Kenny Aronoff?
No, later stuff. Vinny
Don't know.
Oh, Vinny Caliuta.
Caliuta.
Oh,
Yeah.
now that
Vinny's a
guy's
badass.
a clinician.
Yeah.
That guy's a clinician.
Yeah.
Vinny
Yeah.
Caliuta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If
Oh, you know who else has to be on that list is what was his name?
think of it while I say this
not
about
Steve
Vinny.
Gadd.
Gad's already been there.
Okay.
Stuart Copeland.
Yeah, he's a
most recorded
badass.
guys. We're talking about most recorded,
Right.
not most awesome. Oh, Kenny's on here. Kenny Aronoff is on here.
Of course he is.
Vinny Caliuta, if you guys have a chance, being drummers, you can't go wrong with this. If you watch Jeff Beck live at Ronnie Scott's, Jeff Beck takes his stadium band and goes into a club, I believe in London, Ronnie Scott's, a small club, and goes in there and just, with Tal Wilkenfield and Vinny Caliuta,
Yeah.
and literally just puts on an absolute clinic. And like Robert Plant is there. Jimmy Page is there. They're in the crowd. Rod Stewart, I believe, was there. They're just like sitting there in awe watching all of this go down at Ronnie Scott's. Jeff Beck at Ronnie Scott's. Moving on, the next guy. I'm going to just go down the list a little bit. You guys tell me if you know these guys. Paul Liam.
Nope.
John Jr. Robinson.
No.
Elvin Jones.
No.
Roy Haynes.
No.
Harvey Mason.
Who the fuck are these people, Joe?
These guys are probably people you all should know.
That's fair.
Matt Chamberlain.
That one I know.
That sounds familiar, yeah. Jack DeJohnette. Jack DeJohnette. Guess how many records he's been on? 420. Just thought I'd bring that up. Right after him is who? Buddy Rich.
Yeah, Buddy Rich.
Buddy Rich. I again, as a guitar player guy that I know nothing, might be the most amazing side stick playing that I ever saw on Johnny Carson as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous for sure.
Like he would come on Carson and just like he'd be half drunk.
And he actually created probably one of the best drum solos.
Yeah.
On what? On which
period?
Buddy Rich, just as a drummer, period.
Yeah.
Just
speed, accuracy.
Doing things single bass, double bass that no one at that point in time had ever done or heard before.
With the gear that they had available to them back then, which was junk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compared to what we have.
Slingerland kit, hardly any gear.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
Yeah. That's why he'd get on the bus and rip his band a new a-hole.
Yeah. So Slingerland, when I was growing up and my buddy, actually, I think my first band, the drummer had a Slingerland kit, and that was like something back in the day. Was it just junk or
no?
That was just DW owns it now.
Say that again.
DW owns it now.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know that. Drum Workshop owns Slingerland.
Yep.
Wow.
So are they still making Slingerland drums, period?
Yep.
Really?
DW owns, well, there's DW, PDP, Gretsch, Slingerland. They own Ovation.
Right.
They own Gibraltar.
Are they still Gibraltar the rack to own? Is that still?
Yeah.
It's a matter of opinion.
What's the latest on rack equipment?
It's a matter.
The only two racks are Pearl and DW and or Gibraltar.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really the only two rack systems to use.
Yeah.
So are all of those, everything you just mentioned? I worked in a music store in St. Louis in the late 80s into the early 90s. And you could get Crate and Ovation and Alvarez and all those brands from St. Louis music I wonder if they're still made there. I don't think
Nothing's still made here.
Drum Workshop wasn't around back then, so I don't think.
Drum Workshop didn't come available until 72.
Oh, so they were around back then.
Yeah.
They were, but 72, they were making drum seats.
Is that it?
They were making drum seats. They were just making thrones. They really did boom until probably 73, 74.
Wow. I didn't know they boomed back then.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them until the
was
90s.
Really when they started doing drum kits. But I mean, really, it wasn't until, God, I would probably say that Tommy Lee era.
Yeah.
That really DW started coming relevant in the, I mean, people were playing them,
Mainstream.
but like Jim Keltner was playing them. You know, there were guys that were playing, you know, and then Neil Peart came in because he switched over from Tama, and went from Tama to DW, and then that was a real big motivational push move. You know, so, but I mean, if I was to ever own another kit, it would be a Craviotto. I would really love to have one of those kits. But they're all made from one solid piece of wood.
Right.
They're not.
So the whole idea is that they're tuned the same, or they're all.
I guess so.
That was what I was told a long time ago. As far as Drum Workshop, the whole idea was that they built each kit from like basically one tree or one slab. So
my kit's all made from one tree.
Yeah, and then they also get logs from the bottom of lakes that are really super expensive to get. And they
Lake Superior wood.
Yeah, and they make kits out of that, and they're beautiful.
So
they're stupid expensive, but
so you're saying waterlogged wood? Was a sought after.
Yeah.
Well, this is
not waterlogged.
You're talking about wood that dates back to the 1920s.
Right. It's just old, and it's really pretty. There's like bird's eye maple. There's.
They're making a new kit that's made out of almond.
Oh, is that right?
Wow. Huh. Well, I mean, it gets kind of, it's just like guitars. It's the same world.
Everybody's trying something to do something different.
Brazilian rosewood fretboards are now illegal, and you can't even take your guitar out of the country and bring it back in because it's,
Is that serious?
Yeah. It's insane. And we're just trying to play cowboy chords and on a few rock songs. Leave us alone, Come on.
Yeah.
So from Buddy Rich, we go to Tony Williams.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tony Williams. He's a bad.
Yeah.
Then Larry Mullen.
Don't know Larry.
Okay.
Then Bernard Purdy. Bernard Purdy.
These must be old cats, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Kenny Arnoff.
Yeah. And then there's Kenny.
Yep. And then
I don't understand why Kenny is so down on the list.
I know.
Because he played with fucking everybody.
Yeah. He only had 357 recordings.
I think he's probably one of the hardest hitting drummers I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now, give a little background on Kenny. From what I know, he played with
Billy.
Didn't he play with Mellencamp?
Kenny Arnoff started his career with John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah, Mellencamp. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, Jack and Diane.
And then he went from Mellencamp to just everybody. Now he's playing for John Fogerty. And he also does a lot of stuff with like the Grammys, and he's
a union guy.
Dude, if you want just solid rock drums, Kenny is the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the godfather of rock session work.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. I mean, Kenny Arnoff's he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's just the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what you're getting when you hire Kenny, right? And then the last guy on the list is Hal Blaine. Don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know that name. 342 recordings.
I'm surprised. Of course, what he does isn't super technical, even though he's a technical drummer. Is Springsteen's drummer?
Oh, Max Weinberg.
Max Weinberg. His
Max.
son plays for Slipknot.
What?
Yeah,
Dude, his son's a badass.
his son's a son of a bitch.
Really?
Yeah,
Now, Max.
Big horns for Jay Weinberg. I'm telling you
Yeah,
what,
man.
right?
Yeah.
both of
Man.
them. Him and
Yeah.
his dad. They're both just incredible
Yeah.
drummers.
Well, Max was on what late night show?
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, Conan's original
Yep.
original deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, dude, you can't have a list like this if you're talking about recordings. You can't just say it's singles, albums, and that. Anton Fig was on Letterman.
He was also played for Fraley, Ace Frehley.
Yeah, he was on Letterman for 25 years. He was on Fraley's record. He's been playing with Joe Bonamassa now for 15
that's
years.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy has to have been recorded.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You got to count
Well,
TV.
what about the dude that plays for Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I don't know his
Sean
name, but
Pelton.
yeah, he's been on there forever.
Sean Pelton's been another drummer that's just absolutely fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at when we there again, you talk about the rabbit hole. The list goes on
It does.
and on.
I know.
and-
We have to do a part 2.
Yeah,
It's 11:37.
I know.
We got-
we're killing it.
You said Ace Frehley, and my favorite Ace Frehley record would have to be it's got Rock Soldiers on it.
with Mark Slaughter.
Fraley's Comet.
Yeah, with
Oh.
Mark Slaughter singing.
I don't think Mark Slaughter was the singer for Fraley's band.
I would say, hey, Ace Frehley's Kiss solo record, what with New York Groove, Snowblind, to me, and Anton Fig played on that record, So for me, Ace Frehley's solo record was what I obviously loved. Shock Me, Cold Gin. The songs that he was leading on the Kiss stuff, but the members of the Saturday Night Live band. What was the drummer you were talking about?
Pelton.
Yep, Sean Pelton's listed right here, and he played with the Saturday Night Live band. Moved to New York in the 80s. He only played with Sheryl Crow, Natalie Merchant, Billy Joel, Van Morrison, Elton John, Rod Stewart, Johnny Cash, Roseanne Cash, Pink, Shakira, Kelly Clarkson. I mean, there are so many drummers, and it's unfortunate because, as a guitar player, I never went down the rabbit hole of drummers. This has been more, education in drumming for me.
I promise you, it's going to make you a better guitar player
Sure.
tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Oh, you know who? It's Vinnie Vincent. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, was
Okay.
It was Todd something.
Fraley's Comet? Vinnie Vincent?
Mark Slaughter sang for
Oh.
Vinnie
Gotcha.
Vincent Invasion,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
Mark Slaughter with Slaughter, and yeah.
and then he started Slaughter. Yeah, the guy for Fraley was
So Slaughter, what was their hit in the 80s when they came out? It was around
Flight of the Angels.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, that was a big one.
And then there was Up All Night, Sleep
they had
All Day.
That whole album was great.
On that, yep. So Flight of the Angels kind of was, everything.
That was their Stairway to Heaven.
I was
mean,
going to say, everything in that era, you had David Coverdale, you had, what was that one? Everything was kind of the next Zeppelin,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Kingdom Come. Remember
Kingdom
them?
Come. What was the name of that song?
Bring it on.
Get It On.
Get it
Get
on.
It On. Yeah.
And that had a great
It was
drum
good.
intro.
It was badass.
It was good. Yeah.
It was badass for sure.
Hey, could you? I mean, let's just go down this rabbit hole. Could you do a tribute to Zeppelin wannabes and do Kingdom Come, do Coverdale Whitesnake stuff, do all the songs that wanted to be Zeppelin?
You could.
Yeah,
You could
what
add.
was
Okay.
it?
You could add Jet.
Yeah.
You could add.
If we did a gig in Atlanta,
Yep.
and it was myself and our awesome host drummer,
Yeah.
we could totally do something that could highlight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Two drummers would
You
be the
know?
shit.
Yeah.
I would
Like,
love to
we
be in a
could-
band with two
and-
drummers.
Really?
Yes.
And we could have the drums be on opposite sides of the stage.
Yep.
Facing each other.
Yeah, and
We did
could
it at
totally
church for a
It-
while.
it would-
Yeah.
and it would be so much fun to do.
It
Yeah,
would be.
it
I
would be.
totally agree.
Now-
Now, 38 special all over again, but
Yeah.
way cooler.
Well, how would you approach? So again, bringing up Little Richard, when I opened for them, they always had two drummers, and I was like, well, how does that actually work? And they essentially, I'm a guitar player. It looked to me like they were playing the same thing, and then they would break off, and one would take a fill, and then the other take a fill. How do you approach a two drummer rig?
Well, speaking of Phil Collins and Chester Thompson did that.
Yeah.
They played
Yep.
together at the same time and would kind of do that. I think the guys in 38 Special played pretty much just the same thing that the other one was playing.
Unison?
Kind of.
Godsmack has done it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the singer, but
And Shannon Larkin is a
they're
badass
both kick-ass drummers.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Good God.
Those guys come out and do a drum duet, like a drum, like battle.
Like a drum off.
It's unreal.
Huh.
Unreal.
That's crazy. So the crazy thing about Little Richard was that he had two drummers and he had two bass players. So one bass player would stay at home and play all kind of the root, chord progressions and stuff like that. And the other bass player would do all of the slap funk fills. King C would play all of the stuff. He would play around the other bass player. And I always wondered if drummers would kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
One guy
I don't know.
stay
I don't
home.
One guy stay home, the other one.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
Get a
mean,
little more flavorful.
It's no different than having an A rig and a B rig.
Rhythm
You got
guitar,
an A
lead
drummer,
guitar.
you got a B drummer.
Yeah. I guess if you have,
It'd be fun for hell.
it would be fun.
It'd be fun for sure.
And I guess if you have, if you got the budget to be able to do, two keyboard players, two bass players, two drummers.
Look, we don't make any money doing this
Right,
shit
why
anyway, so
not
who
do
cares?
that?
Let's
Yeah.
get
Let's
as
just
many
get
as
it.
we want.
Hey, let's put a 72-piece band together.
Horn
to,
section.
Yeah, to play
it.
the Chicken Shack down the
Right.
road.
No, but I think it'd be way cool if
Yeah.
we got some of our musical influences,
Yeah.
or like if we reached out to people and said, hey, like we could do a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And we could invite fans from all around, and we could have different musicians come in, and you and I do the double drummer situation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Where you play with certain guys and then I play with certain guys, and then when we finish it out, we do like both of us where we're playing like 7-8 songs,
Yeah.
and we're killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that could be super fun, because then I could learn some techniques from you.
Yep.
As a drummer that's constantly, as a student,
Yeah.
you may
both.
learn something from me.
Absolutely.
And, I think it'd be hella fun if we,
Yeah.
would.
It would be.
You should
Yeah.
start
we could even
talking
do
about
it as a barbecue.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Seriously. We should talk about this.
That sounds like to me like a 4th of July extravaganza kind of thing.
It's a happening in the making for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, we
The question is,
venue?
Go ahead.
Are people, well, the question is, if it's 4th of July, then you got to look at tour schedules. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to be right in the middle of
Yeah.
shit they're doing in the middle of the year. It's going to be hard getting people to
That is
come
true.
play.
Yeah.
We could pick it. Doesn't have to be 4th of July. That was just shooting
Yeah,
from the
no,
hip.
yeah,
We could do it
just-
anytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great idea, I think. And I think between the three of us, we all know a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Musician wise, well known people and not so well known people, and we could pull something pretty cool together.
Yeah. It's amazing how good some of the players on the not well known people.
Yeah.
The players that I know that are not well known are my favorite players to play with.
Listen, we started this podcast and we did, what is this, 27?
Yeah.
There's, I mean, I can't lie and say they're all my favorite, but I have a handful that are, but they're all good. We haven't had any shitty people on here yet. We haven't had any mediocre people on here yet, but there are a couple that I really personally, taste-wise, musically, am really into.
Yeah.
And, so those people we'll have a bunch of, it's like I said, the pool of people we have to pull from is just massive.
We're building a nice network.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. We just have to, what did you say earlier? We have to build the city by the village.
It takes a village to build an empire.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing. Right. It takes
without you, there's no me.
Right. Yeah. Without us, there's no anybody. Right.
Yeah. Without the fans, we're poorer than we are now.
Yeah. And that's what it all comes down to is
be a drummer, they said.
Yeah.
They'll love you, they said.
Yeah.
You'll be rich and famous, they said.
I tell you, I can't tell you how many shows I've done where I'm looking at the drummer and I'm like, man, you poor soul. Wouldn't the piccolo have been easier?
Joseph, we played this place called Mad Life. It's one of the places that has the tribute bands in there on the weekends. And we played in there. We played in there twice, I think, right? You and I?
Yeah.
And both times that we played, I didn't have my rack, my big rack. I had my big kit, but not my big rack. And my one china on the right side fell off the drum riser and fell 4 feet off. I was a 3-foot drum riser.
Yeah,
it's a high ass drum riser. It fell off and missed him both times, and almost hit his rig the second time.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey. I just pointed down to my cymbal, like, don't back up and trip over it. And he turns around and starts to act like he's going to pick it up. And I'm like, no. I just didn't want you to fall.
I had to wait. So like when we start our set, it's on Ableton. And so when I hit go, I'll see you in 90 minutes.
There ain't no stopping.
There's no stopping.
You're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. It's pretty funny though that the cymbal falls and
I won't have that to send to you, but I'll send you the show. Though.
Yeah. We'll send you
cool.
It's unpublished, unreleased, unpublished right now. But I would love to get your feedback on what it is and what
I'll send you my Say Never stuff too. You might I think you'll like that too. It's a little
I think it's cool, and I'll send you some of my unreleased stuff as well, and you can take a listen to it and give me your opinions as well, because I love constructive criticism, and it's always nice to actually have fellow colleagues that have time in it. Yeah, you've been playing drums longer than I have, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way. You're my elder in the business.
Yeah,
sure.
And I look to you for those unanswered questions that I may have, or certain techniques or things, because I'm coming on the backside of things.
Yeah.
So, it's always nice to have a critique from somebody that's cut their teeth and done a little bit more in the industry than I have.
Yeah. people
So-
like you are easy to talk to because, and I don't mind doing that. And I do the same thing with people that are my elders, you know, as long as you've got an open mind and don't have an ego or you're going to get your feelings hurt.
Yeah,
And
don't get
if you're
butthurt.
receptive to constructive criticism, like you said, then absolutely I'm into it. If it's, you know, if I'm talking to somebody and I just have a thought, I usually keep it to myself. But if you're asking me questions, I'll answer them honestly. Yeah.
And I love honesty.
Yeah.
I'd rather you tell me, hey, that song sucks, or hey, that fill wasn't exactly where it should have been. Maybe try this. Like,
Yeah.
I love good constructive criticism, but
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
Yeah, no, they don't. And that song I just heard was badass.
Yeah,
I got
that was
zero
cool.
bad to say about that one.
Yep. That was a good tune.
I am going to cut this off though because it's midnight. I got to get up early. I'm all about part 2. We can do it tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned.
I hear you. Joseph,
well,
you know,
could we do part 2?
Next week.
I've got to work through this week for my audition coming up.
Yeah.
hey,
dude.
good luck on
in
that.
on-
Good luck on that.
in-
Focus on that for sure.
Yeah, focus on that. We'll get
I've
together.
I've got it in Austin on Friday. These guys, I can't reveal who it is just yet,
Yeah.
so it will be a big surprise. I'm really hoping that I get it. It's down to me and another drummer. They
Yep.
are a really, really tight, great band. And I'm very thankful to have come out of a previous situation and fall right into another. But I mean, I'll just say this. Thank you to the fans.
Yep.
Thank you to both of you having me on the show.
Of course.
And if there's anybody out there that needs a fill-in studio touring drummer, feel free to light me up or visit the website that I have, which is www.josephlarsen.net. You can read up on me and see anything that I do, and I appreciate you. It's such a blessing to be here.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well, we were glad to have you, man.
We're going to put your link in the information on the video on the podcast, and you know, definitely Austin. Please, if you go to Austin and you get a chance, go see some comedy downtown, because that sems to be what's going on.
You've been
now.
listening to Rogan, haven't
Yes,
you?
I have. Go to the comedy mothership and
Yeah, the mothership.
and get a laugh, because that's what this whole world's about. It's all just laugh at it, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, Joseph, we appreciate you being on.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Definitely, part 2's got to come.
Yeah.
And
and we definitely need to get together in person. So let's definitely
we'll stay in touch
text
for
each
sure.
other, and absolutely.
Nashville's not far away for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, brother. Well, hang
Awesome.
on the line. We're gonna land the ship, and we'll talk to you on the next time.
Hold up for a second.
Yep. Bye.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gaffman.